was like, he was like, great. Like, like I'm looking for the run-ons and great. You doing
I
like my
almost had
guy.
something else to say, and then I was like, no, I guess I don't.
Uh, well, I'm gonna tell you what. Good thing there is a mic. It says the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. That voice you heard in the background was my co-host, Todd Stroger. Now, Todd, you know what? We got to say what's up. I'm up. I was surprised you were up because you were hanging out last night. I saw you in the building. What you were out past your curfew, man.
Well, I don't know, Maze. Looks to me like you stayed out longer than I did. As soon as the sun looked like it was about to go down, I was like, get my car.
Where is my car? Where is my car? Well, if you all did not know, if you don't know what we're talking about, it was the first What's in It for the Black People fundraiser. And let me tell y'all what, I am excited because it did exactly what it was intended to do. And that is raise funds. I preach all the time about the fact that we're not in a position to support our elected officials, which puts us in a position where they are they are not always accountable to us. Well, can I tell y'all what? Thank you to everybody who showed up last night. Cause, can I tell y'all what? I don't care if people came with $10. They came with their piece of the pie, but more often than not, people were writing nice. Hey man. WVO when the WVON family comes out, when the Wiftable family comes out, them checkbooks came out. That Eventbrite was popping. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who was out. But let me do this. Let's get the WVON morning show started. So let me start by saying what's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom. Annette, how you feeling this morning? You know, I have not.
That's probably good for us.
Especially for me, I get a little bass with my voice.
Right.
The later I stay out, thanks for the shit. Look, she was like, right. It was like, you know what? Never miss the opportunity to get a big body slam. Annette with the body blow. It's all good. It's all good. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll get a little coffee in and get it cracking. Let's do this thing, though. So let's say what's up to the rest of the morning show team. What's up to the Wonder Twins in the studio? We got to say what's up to Sonia Escobar and Sonia Tompkins. How you ladies feeling today?
Good morning. I'm feeling great.
Well, good.
Good morning to you.
Well, you guys.
You know how young Sonya is. She just bounced right back.
Cause Sonia, you know what I call Sonia, right? The human drink magnet. She is the human drink magnet because wherever she goes, people seem to find her. The drinks seem to find her. It's like the mysterious drinks. If you stay in the vicinity of Sonia, like drinks start showing up.
Support your bartender.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. Shout out to everybody down at Renaissance last night. What's up with you, Sonia Tompkins, super producer? But it's a beautiful morning. Well, let's do this. Let's get the WVON morning show up to 50,000 feet and let's get this thing off the road. All right, so you already heard me talk about the What's in It for the Black People fundraiser. I want to thank everybody who showed up and showed out last night. But not more importantly, but very importantly, thank you for helping us do what we said we were going to do, which is raise money to continue to provide services so that when people come to me and say, hey man, can I buy What's in It for the Black People? How much money it costs to get your endorsement? How much, because everybody seems to think that they can buy our organizations. And it's like, I would rather I'd like to be a wholly owned subsidiary of the black community. And so yesterday we were on our way to that. Todd, so thank you to everybody who came out. All right, let's get to the news. First of all, I am still disturbed, is the best way to call it. Disturbed about this extraction of this child from this woman who who basically, Todd, went into, like, they met a woman online and then strangled her to death with a cord and then removed her baby from the womb? Unbelievable. And where did you come from?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to tell y'all what. I know y'all going to be mad at me, but I'm going to ask you. If I'm going to tell you that if Donald Trump will be like, were those undocumented immigrants who were involved in that? I'm going to tell you, he going to use it. We going to see it. It's going to be something. But I saw people yesterday trying to blame. Now, y'all know I'm down for blaming elected officials, but that had nothing to do with no alderman. That had nothing to do. There was nothing anybody political could have done about that. But I'm gonna tell y'all what. They whatever happens, they need a real Todd. What kind of people do that?
Crazy people. No sane person could do something like that.
That
so inhuman.
It was completely inhumane. All right.
Inhumane.
You know what? Also, you all, guess what? Today is also. I've been having a long week, man. I think I gotta get some rest. So today is the appointment for the 10th District State Representative. I hope that you all will join me today at 2622 West Jackson at the JLM Center, where the presentation process will begin at 2:00 p.m. It is open to the public. I would love to see the WVON family in the building as all of the candidates make their presentations. Now, y'all know I can't make mine. I can make mine, but I can't be in the room when the presentations are made. So, I can only present myself. I only have 5 minutes to sell myself.
You can't listen to
the other candidates. I only have 5 minutes to sell myself. 5 minutes. How much is the state budget? How many billions of dollars? It's like $50 billion, something like that.
Something like
So
that.
state's budget is $50 billion. You got 160 something. How many members in the legislature?
118.
118. So divide 118, 55 billion by 118. That's about how much say you got. I got 5 minutes to earn that spot. 5 minutes. Y'all, pray for your brother today. Pray, pray, and pray. And you know the odds don't, Todd, I got the feeling I'm not the guy. I got the feeling I'm not the guy, but nothing hurts. Nothing hurts. What do they say? Nothing hurts worse than what you can't hit a home run if you don't swing at the ball.
That's right. That's right.
So at least they gotta hopefully, do you think what's in it for the black people is more helpful or harmful? Probably in this case more harmful. Look, we'll talk about it all when we come back. It's Talk Chicago 1690.
More of the morning show with Maze Jackson coming up.
I think my advocacy tactics will probably not work for them. Okay, Jackson.
What? Everybody is has a black area, right?
Yep. Get me live. Man, this other Maze Jackson is killing me on social media, man. Reverend Maze Jackson.
Hey, that could be your twin.
Sheesh.
Hey, you both have a certain what's that, cachet about yourselves.
Huh?
You can speak well.
You ain't even heard him speak.
Actually, I have, because I've looked you up before and I got him.
Oh.
Yeah. We both got the same hair.
Whoa. Whoa, Todd. Y'all, Todd trying to crack this morning. We trying to find the Maze.
Well, if nothing else, we know you both came from the same church, because that place looks all white.
No.
All right, I'm almost awake.
Talk to the people, Todd.
Peoples.
People.
Oh man, it was a good event last night. I saw a whole bunch of people who I only knew by name. I saw some people who I knew from back in the day. Saw some people who I met many years ago and hadn't seen in forever. Couldn't remember the name until they tell me. Yeah, it was a good event. Maze got a little lengthy towards the end.
What?
Like, hey, man. People started pulling on his coattail. It's like, wait, I only got two more things to say.
I only got two more people to thank.
But yeah, but part of that was because Maze pretty much recognized everybody in the room. If you came, he was like, thank you, thank you, thank you, which is a nice thing. Because
I think people felt good to be acknowledged. And there was so many people that had. First of all, everybody in there, for the most part, wrote a check for $100. I was like, and thank you, and thank you.
Yeah, so everybody deserved to be thanked for because it's like every organization. You can't do anything without money.
Yeah, I don't get.
When our fraternity
Really don't respond.
was organized,
Maria Pappas
first
is
thing the
doing an
second president
extension
did
with
was
the
write a letter
Rainbow Push.
about
for
how
those
money
taxes.
was the lifeblood
You care
that
about
could
that or not?
let
I
us
do, but I ain't giving her no
do
half.
things
I mean, I'll
we
do a
want to
couple minutes.
Okay.
Also, money is. I remember my dad.
Did you
saying,
see what the professors responded to me?
one of the
Yeah.
reasons people
Okay. So they
respond
seem like they're going to one day
because
give
they
us
feel
a
like
call
you
to
have
talk
something in
about
the
it.
game.
Yeah, they probably just trying to protect
you,
themselves right
you
now.
put your money in it. So, I think it was a great event. Got a chance to talk to Madam President. Next shoe rocks the house.
Who?
Madam President. Xavier, man. Xavier. Saw Amari, our crosstown rival. That's always good.
Who?
Amari.
He's your crosstown rival.
Yeah, he went to Dillard.
Oh,
You wouldn't know nothing about that, man. Are we back? Hey, as you can. And do it. Do it. Do it till you're satisfied. Whatever it is. Do it. And do it till you're satisfied. Come on and do it. Do it till you're satisfied. Whatever it is. Do it. Do it till you're satisfied.
you are tuned in to Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Singing in the background is my co-host, Todd Stroger. You know that you can do the bass. You know what? That is that part of your sleepover voice. It is Maze Jackson, Todd Stroger. We are doing it till he's satisfied. All right, y'all. Hey, you know what? Do I have a powers? I got a screen over here. Hey, y'all. Let's go into some of the news and headlines. I do want to remind you all today, stop by if you have time. The Johnny L. Miller Center, 2622 West Jackson, where I will be presenting my case to be the next state representative of the 10th district to replace Melissa Conyers-Irvin, who is city treasurer-elect. It's going to be a popping, heated conversation. Well, I don't think it's going to be popping and heated, because I think with only with $55 billion, I got 5 minutes to sell myself, y'all. I'm working on my speech. Do you think, Todd, I forgot to ask you before we went to break, do you think being a vociferous advocate for black people, do you think that my what's in it for the black peopleness, maybe not the what's in it for the black peopleness, but the how I've expressed my frustration may hurt me in this case?
I would say that there's probably some elected officials who feel that they don't get a fair shake from you. And when I say that, they just think that you're too hard on them. But I don't think that's what's going to hold you back.
Oh, good. All right. I don't think, I am hard on elected officials because I do think that we need to be hard on the people that are representing us Hard times are spreading across the. Yeah, see, it's hard times out here in our streets, and I think it's got to be some frustration. But you know what, y'all? I am going to give it my best shot today. I would love to see you all there, 2622 West Jackson, today at 2:00 p.m. The Democratic committeemen will make the selection, and probably by 4:00 today, we will know who the new state rep. Actually, we will not only know. That state representative immediately following that will be sworn in and will immediately become the state representative today. So just think, guys, I could come back on Monday as your state representative. How crazy would that be? I'm still doing the morning show. So just so y'all know, I would still do the morning show. See? But I'm probably saying that's probably another reason they're gonna be like, hell no.
Yeah. That could be a minus.
I think it would be. Don't you think it would be great to have an advocate who could tell you real time what was going on every day? Like, imagine 3 days a week I'm broadcasting live from Springfield, right before we go on the floor with cannabis on the floor, with sports betting on the floor, with everything. Could you imagine every day having to have somebody ask what's in the? Excuse me, Mr. Speaker. Excuse me, to the chair. State representative from the 10th district, Mays Jackson, would like to know. We know. What's in it? Say it with me together, right? It'd be like, whatever. Okay, Todd.
Hey.
I mean,
You got a shot, buddy.
hey man, I was thinking back, Paul Williams telling you the story. I can't do it too long, my voice too heavy. But Paul Williams, yes.
You know what you need?
What?
This happened. Remember, I'm gonna get you something. But dude had a theme song everywhere he walked.
Oh, yeah. I had me a boombox and a group of people following me. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Well, that's poor music now. I want dun 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 dun. I want the Darth Vader music coming. Dun 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 dun. All right.
You know that was the bad guys music, right?
You know what? I don't like goody good guys. I like conflicted good guys. I like good guys that'll knock you in your mouth. I like the good guy, like the Clint Eastwood good guy back in the day, like Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There's a word for those people.
Make my day.
I can't remember if that's the anti-hero.
Well, I like the Robin Hoods kind of see, I'm telling you, growing up, being a product of the 90s late 90s hip hop, I say you were under the Mobb Deep Act, right? And so you got this edge to you. You just got this. See, nobody wants to be too good.
No wonder I don't like those guys.
Man, see, you don't even know who Mobb Deep is, man.
I not them. I meant that whole mentality. I always wanted to be the hero.
You wanted to ride the white horse? I wanted to ride the black horse
No, I don't wanna ride a
with a
white
black hat and a black. I wanted to rock all black.
I reject all that.
I want to rock the all black and come through, and I wanted people to be like, oh God. I wanted the bad guys to be scared and fearful because they knew that justice was coming.
I want to be more like Zorro. Zorro wore all black and he rode a black horse.
Yeah, but Zorro was kind of light. He was kind of light, man.
You don't know nothing about Zorro.
Hey man, I seen Zorro. He had that little mustache. Ha ha!
If Zorro walked in this room right now, he'd skewer you. So.
I bet Arya Stark will whoop Zorro. There you go. Hey,
See, you missed the beginning of the movie.
you know what? Maybe I'm at I just remember the TV show.
Yeah, see, there you go.
You know what?
Tyrone Power, what a hero.
Hey y'all, there were just a couple things. I don't know if you all saw the story about the committees being used to reward political favors. I don't really think that's a nothing story. I just think it's so Chicago. It's I feel like Lori I feel like the press is right now trying to rehash everything and put everything back in the news to see what sticks.
That sounds about right.
They're going to find all the stories that never got any real traction because it's there's no story here, but they're making it a big deal. I don't think committees. I think beyond Ed Burke and his $2 million committee, I don't think an alderman having a couple $100,000 extra to deliver services to the constituents is a bad thing. Sorry, just not that way. Harvard fires their first black deans over their decision to represent Harvey Weinstein. Now, see, here's the problem. You know that to represent Harvey Weinstein, 2 black lawyers, you know they getting paid.
Oh,
Paid. I'm talking about 20 million, like tens of millions of dollars paid. The 2 black people that go represent Harvey Weinstein to give him his shot at justice, and now they're getting fired.
when have you heard of anything like this?
Lawyers getting fired for providing the defense of the, you know
Isn't
what?
that what lawyers do?
Yes, and then Harvard lawyers. That's where you're supposed to go find the people. You know what, y'all? They just see how they do it, Todd. There you go. There goes another
Now
chance
the
of them.
rules change.
Now the rules change. Black people finally get to be the deans of Howard. Now, if I was Alan Dershowitz, they'd be like, Alan Dershowitz defended the rights of. But now it's 2 black people and they defending a Jewish guy, and the black people still get whooped. It's the Talk of Chicago 1690. When we come back, it's the social media question of the day.
Live from the WVON newsroom. Here's
Let's have a little fun today. What do we need to bring back?
Cloudy skies. Temperatures in the low 50s. I'm in Illinois, and here's what's happening. Hundreds of comment customers are without power this morning after storms overnight. Most of the outages are
Todd, you got the cameras. Hey, y'all, that's me on TV. Up there. That's
Yeah.
me, that's me.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to have Mama T come in one day. She has all the like this. You know how we have right. She's got, I think we should have her in one day. And just record home, right? And then we know what the day is. Right? And then, just because I think she's got a lot of good things that was thinking of, but then you
Legendary
record
singer
it.
Deanna Moore is releasing a new album today. It's called She's Back. The album includes 10 songs and features songs with music selection, Kill Down, and it also features something about the
Yes. Great morning. Crazy weather.
brought to you by Panero.
I think we already reached the high of
Breakfast
57
on the
or
go
something
no longer
crazy.
means to settle. Wake up with the new maple glazed bacon,
I don't
scrambled
like
egg
it.
and cheese breakfast wrap, and a Madagascar
You know,
vanilla
I think it's supposed to go back
all
up
ready to go
to
with
70
the push of a
tomorrow.
button. Panera, food as it should be. Spring is here, and it's time to beauty up on Sunday,
Guess it's
May
a good thing I'm
19th.
busy
The
all day.
Multicultural Beauty Affair,
I'm
an
gonna have to be
event
outside.
embracing our imperfections and individuality. Come experience Chicago's iconic culture in beauty and fashion from some of the best stylists and designers. The
I will
Multicultural
go
Beauty Affair
over
is brought to you by BP Ensemble.
the
Join us for a Sunday afternoon
JPL.
dedicated to pampering yourself and
Sit there and
your
check
time.
out a few
There is
people before I have to go
something
pick up
for
my
everyone
daughter.
at The Multicultural Beauty Affair.
Hear what the,
Ladies, come
candidates have to
experience
say.
hair
5
and
minutes.
skincare
That's good.
demonstrations without
5 minutes, I
visits,
might be
and
able to
don't
hear all
forget
of
to bring the men in your lives too. Hey guys, get a complimentary
Fast food,
haircut.
79
Sign
tomorrow,
up for
but
barber
rainy.
school or learn the proper way
69
to tie
on
an
Sunday,
ascot.
rainy.
Shop with natural hair care
Back in the
vendors,
50s.
fashion and
Back
accessories
to
from
70s.
local boutiques to selections
Real roller
from the
coaster.
best brands in hair weave. 932 East 43rd Street at Haven. Doors open at 1 p.m. It's the
Not enough
Multicultural Beauty
good
Affair.
weather.
Sunday, May 19th
Warm enough
from
weather
1 p.m. to
or
5 p.m. Tickets are only
non-rainy
$5.
drop
It's
off.
time to beauty up. Sponsored by Activists and You. Catered
Probably
to
don't
you.
have enough,
Chasnap Incorporated and
time
Zuri
to
Hair with
go
Aisha
anyway.
Divine. WVON. Proud to help.
Hey Chicago, my name is Corey Oliver, and I want to tell you about my new show, When Opportunity Knocks. It's going to be on at 11 a.m. on Saturday mornings. When Opportunity Knocks is going to explore
Hey, it's the reason
current real estate business climate for
why
the future of a current investor. We're going to explore
whenever we talk about black
opportunities
people,
in multifamily
no matter
building
what their status, we never really know black people's status. When they're playing basketball,
real estate professional.
everybody always just yells, leave college and go play and make that money. Is that because we don't know the value of education?
I would say to an extent, but I would say to an extent, yes. But I would also say that if the end goal of college is to get you to well paid, right? And you can get to well paid without going bankrupt, get well paid and go back to college. I mean, I don't think that we.
Is there a value to being young, getting a chance to mature, meet people before you go on your work journey?
There is a tremendous value to it, but you have to do a cost-benefit analysis. If you are a lottery pick or you are someone that can go in the first round of the NBA draft, right? Now, I don't think that they adequately prepare a 20-year-old with $50 million.
And it's probably more like going to be 19.
Okay, so they don't adequately prepare them, which puts them in a position to take the money back. But until there's a compensation plan at the college level, no, you can't really tell somebody. So I'm gonna break my
I'm not
leg.
going to tell them, but the value.
If you are not a lottery pick or a draft a first rounder, yeah, no, I would say you stay in the league. But I think if you are, that's like saying, do you take your lottery earnings now, or do you stretch it out over 10 years and hope that you don't get hit by a train and never get?
Yeah, but see, with that analogy, it always comes to I always hope I don't get hit by a train.
Yeah.
So-
I just think, Todd, I think it's outlandish. I think it's unreasonable to ask anybody. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. I think it's
No. This is not about asking. This is about advising. And
I would never
but
advise
it's more about, it's not just about money, because did we not hear that 65% of these athletes are going to be broke at some point? And don't you think part of that is because they have no life skills, because they went from a high school to a year of college and all of a sudden they're a millionaire?
No,
They
because
don't
I
have
know
money.
people who went to college and I still don't have no money and I still broke.
Well, no,
So
there's always going to be that. But
So-
don't you like to play the odds that maybe I can learn something?
I'm saying that I would play the earns. I gamble on myself. So this is hard for me because I always
You're not
bet
your
on
average
this.
Negro, if you will.
Okay, but
Pardon the
I
expression.
mean, and that basketball player doesn't think he's the average Negro,
Well, we know
and
they
he's
are.
not.
Because most people are
No,
that.
he's not the average Negro because he's a multimillionaire. Now, is he the average? Because the smartest Negroes ain't multimillionaires. So I think there's a value to.
There's a reason why in all those shows that show people win the lottery, they ain't got any money in like 10 years. Because if you don't learn anything about money, you tend to spend it.
So if you broke your leg and it ruptured your spine or whatever.
It's not the same anymore. You
Okay.
can hurt yourself and they'll put you right back
No,
together
Todd,
like
I'm not
RoboCop.
staying in. I'm not telling anybody who can make $100 million to skip that and go to college. Now I'm gonna say,
No,
hey, yo,
you're
hold
not
on, let's
skipping
do the show. Let's do the show.
Oh, let's do the show.
You are tuned in to Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson.
You missed it, but Maze was wrong. That's
Got
all
my
we need to say about
co-host Todd Stroger trying to tell me that he would advise an NBA player or a player who is ready to make millions now to stay in school.
No, that's a leading statement, sir. You said ready, and I'm saying most of these guys aren't ready.
I would say, but if you are a first rounder and you're a guaranteed first rounder, you gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go get that money. You gotta learn from the fact that everybody else burnt up the money. But if I could give you a $50 million head start and you jag it, that's on you. I don't care where you grew up. If you blow a $50 million head start, I really don't have sympathy. Now,
Do you think the 18-year-old Maze was the same as a 22-year-old Maze?
I 100% don't, but I also believe that if these parents get a hold of their children, they may say, like, I just think we got to get a better financial plan, and we got to stop going back doing the Scottie Pippins. That's all. I mean, I feel like we know that the whole system is built on hustle. Well, I was a multi-millionaire and I bought a $20 million plane that didn't fly. Right? We got to stop getting. We know that if you got $50 million and you know that the goal is of all of those guys is to deflower you of that $50 million by the time you leave the league, then we need to shortcut the agent process. We need to shortcut all of these people that are to pray. They repray and repray and repray. But I don't say you leave $100 million on the table. I'm sorry, you don't.
All right, you keep going.
Okay, let's go. But I do think there's a value in education, and I would not have traded my.
Life experiences help you. So those 4 years you're in school, you learn something. You learn how to deal with people. You learn how to deal with authority. Maybe you don't learn enough about how to deal with money, but you can't take those classes.
I'm gonna say that if you're an athlete, and there are 4-year athletes that if you look at the 4-year athletes that went to college and they had to stay there, guess what? They were still broke too. The premise is that we just gotta stop getting hustled. All right, let me do this. Because we got a few things I want to get through. Let's first of all, I want to say what's up to Mama D, because Mama D has a Black History moment for us today. Thank you for coming out yesterday, Mama D. And I think I just talked to Sonia, so we're going to coordinate that. Tell us today what is today in Black History.
Okay, good morning, good guy.
Good morning.
Did you know that today is May 17, 2019? It's the 65th anniversary of the 1954 Brown v. Board of Education Supreme Court decision that ruled Jim Crow segregation laws were unconstitutional because it existed only to keep the status of the Negro down and caused hard self-esteem and mind/academic and psychological damage to young Negro Black children who expressed themselves through jobs. The court said it was doubtful that the children would ever overcome the damage, and in so doing, America committed genocide, which is defined by the United Nations Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. In Article A, killing members of the group. Article B, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group. To date, no counseling or remedy of any kind was given to the children to help them overcome the hard mind damage. So they passed it on untreated to their children who are in their 50s, and they passed it on untreated to their children who are in their 30s, and are passing it on to untreated to their children who are teens and weans. The problem has gone from worse to worse to worse. That is why reparations are needed to make them whole. I'm Mama D, a crime against humanity descendant, Jim Crow genocide survivor, and indigenous Native Black American. Now you know.
That is Mama D with our Black History moment of the day. Let's go to Linda.
Thank you, Mama
Thank
D,
you,
for
Mama D.
verifying what I was saying to Mays, that a quality education is worth more than getting money that you have no idea how to use.
Okay, I'm with you on that too. I was talking to one of my good Jewish buddies yesterday, and he was saying the one thing that we all know is education, that in our community, that the only thing they cannot take away from us is education. So I hear you. That is what the Jewish motto is. Let's go to Linda. Linda, you're on the Top of Chicago, 1690.
Good morning, WVON Village.
Good morning, Linda.
Wonderful. Listen, you will be making history yourself, sir. If what you put in for, you get it, and they're going to have to put you on the map, too, and put you in the books, too, saying that you are a representative. You know that, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, then, so get ready to be part of history. And if they can take Sonny Bono and put him in a suit and send him to Washington, D.C., I don't see nothing wrong with doing you the same way.
Thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. In case y'all do not know what she is talking about, that is Linda, and I am today, you all, at 2 o'clock, the nominations, or excuse me, they will be making the selection of the 10th District State Representative of the for the seat that was vacated by Treasurer-elect Melissa Conyers-Irvin. I am officially submitting. I will be presenting at approximately 3:15. I'm hoping that some of you all who want to see our self-interest represented in Springfield might come out. 2622 West Jackson. You know that the powers that be do not want Mays Jackson in Springfield asking what's in it for the black people.
We got you, babe.
That's my Sonya, the musical conductor of the Soul Play. You know what? We did all this and we did not do the social media question of the day. Let me do this. Earlier this week, Sonya, the musical conductor of the Soul Plane, played a bunch of TV show tunes that took me back to the good old days when there seemed to be more black community. Yeah, we had our problems, but where did it change? And if you could, what would you bring back? Is there anything we can do to get back what we had? The social media question of the day. What do we need to bring back in the black community? What do we need to bring back in the black community? It is the social media question of the day. Give us a call, 312-374-8130, 312-374-8130. What do we need to bring back in the black community, Todd? I say whoopings. You need to whoop them kids. I know, here they gonna call. Don't call me, talk about some. And then I know Celine about to be like, Maze, you know that releases the tensions and it makes the people.
Yeah, I actually heard him talking about that maybe 2 weeks ago.
Right. Every time I say get a whooping. But what do we need to bring back, Todd?
Education. There is not. I was just talking about this to somebody. There
Me?
is not an emphasis on education anymore. People don't do whatever it takes to make sure that their children advance and get a better education than they did. I mean, my dad was on. I look back, I realized that man, I was gonna say I could have done some stupid stuff, but I did some stupid stuff. And my dad wasn't all over me. It was more like, people make mistakes. But man, if I brought home a D, that whipping you were talking about?
You know what that is? That is so. You know what? It does not seem that education is important. You know what? I mean, I remember my report card. I used to get straight A's in all checks, so I would be scared to bring the report card home with straight A's. Education, I definitely think education needs to be re-emphasized in our community. My kindergarten teacher said to my mom that you need to move him to a different school because that kid's got something and we want to make sure that it gets developed.
Oh, wow.
Right? And so she literally referred me out to another school. I think we need to bring back the pride. I feel like we need to bring back black pride. Like, do you remember? I remember when my mama, when I was like in 1974, 75, and she would be like, you gonna get a natural. Right? Everything was a natural.
Yes, that was a symbol of being black and proud.
Right? Like, you gonna get you, not an afro, because I could never grow an afro. But I had a natural.
You need to get a blowout.
Oh, right. But I felt like there was a time when black was a symbol of pride. Black was, like when people, you said, like before we was saying all this African American, before we was assimilating, when the brothers would grow out their hair, like during the era of the Black Panthers, and I can't honestly say that I completely remember that.
Me either, really.
What I do remember is that there were Blackstones in my neighborhood that knew my mother was a single mother, and they used to make sure that she got to the bus every day and got home and made sure that, like, if I was acting a knucklehead, they'd be like, when I used to live at 514 62nd Street. But you know what I was gonna say? Do we need to bring back the organized structure of Chicago street organizations? Because right now, who can you call? Something crazy. Remember Yummy?
Yeah.
And remember when
Yummy
Sanders and nobody could get a hold of them, and they was like, look, y'all got to handle this. Look, we're going to talk about it all when we come back. Give us a call, 312-374-8130. What does the black community need to bring back? We'll talk about it. Todd, what you want to bring back? I want you to bring back, I got one.
I brought mine back, education.
What else though, man? I want to bring back I want to bring back the 8th Ward, 27th Ward Young Democrat Wars. When we was powerful. When people was like, bow down! It's Talk Chicago. Let's go to traffic and weather. We'll be back.
May is Health Awareness Month.
Well, before that, we used to have 8th Ward, 19th Ward wars.
Yeah, I understand. And then once the black people took over the Young Democrats, all the white people left.
Isn't that
That's what J.B. Pritzker, when Alderman Burnett became the president of the Young Democrats of Cook County, J.B. Pritzker started the new, you know, the
I know the group, I just can't remember what they called it.
right. They created because the white kids was like, the rich white kids was like, we're not finna be bound down to these niggas. You crazy? I got more money than they whole family.
Yes, that's pretty much what it was. They were like, well, let's do a rich thing. And, it was like a TV show almost, you know. Like the black kids shipped into the white school, and the white people started a different group, so they don't have to be in the black group. Yeah, Mace ain't lying. That was interesting. Very different day. And it was amazing how the white organizations, because they still had organizations, stopped coming. It's like they were like, well, there's no value in this anymore. While the black organizations who were, you know, on the come up, I guess, who were really just starting to be something and running the organization, they were like, all right, there's value in this because we're the head. We had one of our young Democrats who was the leader, and it's like President, and it's like May said, just about everybody stopped participating. The funny part was, our rival at that time for who would run the organization was the 19th Ward organization. And they were the only group that came to the meetings. So it would be 19 and 8. Yeah, that was fun. But I think actually just having more young Democratic organizations help young people be prepared, more prepared in how to run for office. I remember my dad would send people to different things like the DNC, Democratic National Committee. They would throw a workshop, a campaign workshop. And I know I went to one, and a whole bunch of other people went to those things through the years. And you know, you talk about how you're going to use your funds and elected, get the work groups and do things. And then he also sent me to the IPO-IVI, Illinois Precinct Organization, Illinois Independent Voters of Illinois. And they also had a workshop. I went to that one. I don't know if that stuff still happens. Where the committeemen send people to those things and they
Oh no, we ain't gonna do that shit.
at least not in any big number.
And your friends will come knock first, but they just walk right in.
Oh no, we ain't doing that. I don't play that.
Did y'all ever leave y'all doors unlocked?
You mean the house?
Yes, we were on 80th and Oglesby. We left.
Hell no, especially now. It
What?
wasn't.
Think about, I was a shorty. We left our doors unlocked in the 70s.
Okay.
And everybody knew it. And we
Leave
locked our
it
doors when
be
everybody
to-
went to bed.
No, nobody would walk in their house. Though.
But
we
we
may
were
have left
known
the
for
door
that.
unlocked.
But
Left
we
the
never
door
got our
open.
house broken into, nothing. We were known for it.
Hey,
Bring it on home to me. Yeah, yeah. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Bring it on to me, yeah, yeah. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Todd, I'm asking, what do we need to bring back in the black community? I know you said education. I'm with that.
all right,
I
I'll
agree.
bring another one back.
Give me.
Children. Too many children aren't children anymore. They're grown ups before their time, and they get in all kind of mess, and it makes it unhealthy for everybody else.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what. That's another good one. Not having the opportunity to be a child. That's a good one, Todd.
I've thought about this kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, I think you probably had to think about it in some ways because that is the comparison that we have as to the good old days. So even as you led the county, I'm sure some of the things as you were trying to find solutions, you probably were thinking to yourself, dang, What is wrong with these crazy? What do we have that they don't have? And I'm gonna tell
Well,
you.
we did have when I had a little money and a little time, I think, but we threw I forgot what we called it, but for the summer we got kids together and we tried to bring them to places that they normally didn't go. And one of those places was Brookfield Zoo. I was surprised at how many kids had never been to the zoo, which I thought was just a small thing in life.
Oh man, as some things that to me, I miss school field trips. Well, I guess they still go on field trips, but do they? Like remember we used to go for Christmas around the world every year, at the Museum of Science Industry, and they'd be Sonya like no. Okay, see, Sonya's one of the millennials. Let's go to the phone lines. What do black people need to bring back in our community? Let's go to James. James, you're on the Talk Chicago 1690.
Good morning, bros. How are you all?
All right, how about yourself?
Oh, we're doing good. We're doing good. What I think we need to bring back, one of the things is political mobilization organically. Well, I think we've gone astray politically because we've lost control of who steps in front of us and asks for our vote. If you go back to Gus Savage's days, you'll find that Gus Savage came from organic mobilization. And right now, most of our elected officials are put before us from entities outside our community.
So I'm going to say our political I'm going to agree with you that I think we need to bring back political organization, but I don't think it was organic. And I think that's part of our challenge is that we want it to just happen instead of recognizing that it was ground out. It took Big Bill Dawson 4 years after spending how many years under, Jesus Christ, was he under Oscar the Priest? I think he was under Oscar the Priest.
Yeah.
He was under Oscar the Priest, but it took him at least 4 years of organizing to move black people into a power position. And I think we got to start building, which is why we had that first What's in It for the Black People fundraiser. Thanks, James. Let's go to Gwen. Gwen, you're on the Talk Chicago 1690.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Hey, Gwen, how are you, darling?
Good.
Give me some. I want some of that bread pudding.
And you gonna get some too.
No raisins. She don't even put raisins in the bread pudding. Go ahead, Gwen.
Okay. Listen, 3 things, and I'm gonna be real quick. You need morals, values, and self-respect, and that's it.
Okay, I'm gonna take that.
I'll see you later.
Thank you, Gwen. You know what I'm gonna say? Black self-esteem, but that's probably me going back to that black. It's probably just a derivative of me saying pride in being black, but self-esteem. Right. Let's go to Charles. Charles, you're on the Talk Chicago 1690.
Hey, ladies, how you doing?
I'm great, my brother. I'm ready for you too. Go ahead.
What I see is we need to bring back the spirit of self-reliance and do for self. Because you all was talking about a trade deficit, the Trump administration. Well, we operating here in Chicago and probably the rest of black America at a trade deficit. What that means is that we are spending more money with other groups and they're spending zero with us. So we're building up their communities with our money, and we are left with nothing to build our community with. In excess of $500 million goes out of our community with these others, foreigners, and they don't spend a dime with us.
I'm with you. Last one, Karen, you're on Talk Chicago.
Good morning, kings and queens.
Good morning, Sister Karen.
Listen, I had a great time last night.
Thank you for coming out.
Oh, no problem, because what we need is more of you. We need to get more together like we did last night. Just like Gator. Gator said something on a post about a month ago. He called another man of honor. We need to see more honor, like the lady just said, more morals, calling each other out. We need to deal with constructive criticism. We need to be able to get it, and we need to be able to take it. And Ed spoke good on the panel last night. So we just need to get more together and let's make it happen. We doing it. You doing it, brother. Yeah, have a great day.
Thank you, my sister. All right, we'll be back after traffic news and the weather.
The talk of Chicago and the voice of the nation.
We're going to the Van Pelt. Did you see that about Van Pelt?
We're
Yeah.
gonna finish this conversation because you get more calls.
Oh, I'll take some calls.
Yeah,
It's not the first time she did it. Remember, she was hustling everybody to get a Bentley. You can make your.
That's funny you said that because that's exactly what Frank Bass was talking to me.
I mean, it's like they ignored until, like, we can have, as long as you give the vote, they get the vote. They don't care about the, like, when that whole multi-million-dollar scheme with the pyramid, with the what do you call it, the multi-level marketing that they was doing the last time, when you could get a Bentley, and all these people are signing up. I ain't gonna say all the people that was in it, but I was just like, y'all do realize, and I bet you if you went down the list, how many of those people were their employees or people that did come on, man.
Well, that works because you talk to people who you know. You're like, hey, look what I'm doing. Look how it's benefiting. No, what's that word? Benefiting, benefiting me. And then you get all your friends, and you build up on them, and then eventually, you run out of friends, or they do.
And then,
But yeah, Bill Dawson was a little later than Oscar the Priest.
no, he was the one who watched Oscar the Priest get emasculated, and so he was like, look, we gonna stop just bowing down to the machine, we gonna control the black machine. And Big Bill built the black machine. Go ahead.
That's why the first district is so iconic, because the Oscar the Priest, his predecessor, whose name I just forgot, I just read it too, and Bill Dawson were the only African Americans in Congress. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Going to Congress and being the only black guy?
Yep.
400 and whatever they had at that
Oscar the
time.
Priest was the first black in Congress after Reconstruction.
Well, the first black who wasn't from the South. So.
No, he was the first black congressman, period. Who
No, I think they had a Southern
after
guy.
Reconstruction.
I think they had one Southern guy, at least one Southern guy. I think I just read that.
Okay. I'm telling you, I did a whole presentation on this.
No, well, I believe it. 'Cause
Oscar
I'm
the
just
Priest
reading
was there
from-
by
from
himself.
right now.
Okay.
So I haven't really looked at it.
You gotta check out Poli Sci 101, the first edition.
Oh no, I'm not saying he wasn't by himself. I'm saying that like in 1900, there was somebody from.
Oh
the
yeah. So he was the first one after Reconstruction. Now maybe somebody joined him after, but after they kicked all the black people out.
No, Illinois is the place for things like this.
Right. Illinois is the place because we always had the black numbers, but especially after the migration.
Yes. Oh, Arthur Mitchell. Well, there you go, Arthur. Well, thank you. Arthur Mitchell was from the first district. Oh, he preceded the Priest.
Was it Mitchell?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I didn't even know Arthur Mitchell existed.
No, I think he was in the parade. He was in the. But was Arthur Mitchell black?
But he was a Republican.
So was Oscar the Priest.
Right. Dawson was.
Dawson
was
flipped
Democrat.
from Republicans to Democrat.
Right. Yeah, but I didn't really hear anything about him. But he did just like what you'd expect him to do. He tried to ban lynching and all that kind of stuff. He filed a lawsuit against the Illinois Central and Rock Island after he was forced into the segregated car when he was on the train and went into Arkansas.
Still a nigga. That's what happened.
He retired. That don't happen very often.
Unless they tell you to.
Hey, guess what he was a member of?
What?
Phi Beta Sigma.
See how that happens?
He was the 6th international president.
What's his name?
Arthur Mitchell.
Damn, they never taught us that he was. I know who he is in the book. I just didn't. They never
say
told us.
anything about his history, huh?
No, they just. But you know what? Like when you get to those presidents after you get through the founders, and you get through like the original 3 or 4 presidents, then it's like a list, and it's just like
We're not putting everybody's history down. Yeah.
But that would make sense considering that Upsilon Sigma and the number of black people. Upsilon Sigma is the historic chapter here in Illinois, which, you know, it's a single letter chat, and it's been here since like right after we were founded, because Chicago was a home base for a lot of people after they left Howard.
Like Xi Lambda. Xi Lambda is, you know, it's the alumni chapter, but that's a single. Xi.
Well, how is Lambda? Xi Lambda.
Lambda just means you're alumni.
Oh, okay, got it.
Ryan.
His wife's name was Eula May.
Hmm?
His wife's name was Eula May.
Eula May.
That's very subtle.
What do you miss? You know what I miss? I miss when I was a kid and you could show up in any, like your parents would go to their friend's barbecue and you ain't know none of the kids, but they would all be playing, and you would just get out the car and be like, I'm playing, and just jump in the game, and you ain't have to know nobody, and you could pick a side, like depending on how you could watch just a little bit, be like, I'm playing, where they was playing hide and go seek, and tag, not tag, y'all.
Let me tell you what happened, and I knew the world really was, I don't know if it was different, or maybe I was supposed to pick. My last picnic we had, the 8th ward we had, it was probably like, I don't remember, 09, 08, something like that. So Hans is like 8, and he's there, and there's these kids running around, and they're about 8, and he goes over to play with them, and they treat him like crap, and he comes back a little shell-shocked. But it's just not the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's like with our guys, we now are like, we got to get together and make our boys play together. Because it's not like kids don't show up and play. Kids will show up and grab their phone and look down and never talk to nobody.
Right, never look up. Yeah, that's a...
Get that for me, would you?
Yeah.
Would you please,
That's
sir?
part of the new world.
Everybody take it from the top. We're gonna stomp all night in the neighborhood. Got a feeling alright. Gonna stomp all night. Gonna party till the morning light. Running. Your turn.
You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. But
Quincy Jones' influence is great. He told the Brothers Johnson, you guys need to go out there and make some records.
You know what? The Brothers Johnson, you know, Quincy's influence was great, but I can't shake it, man. Him and the Marlon Brando thing and the whole little, I still got problems. But I'm gonna tell you.
I don't need to know about that.
Right. It's like sometimes too much.
information.
It was. It's the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Mace Jackson. That voice you heard in the background is Todd Stroger. Gotta say what's up to the WVON Morning Show team. What's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, as well as Sonia Escobar and Sonia Tompkins. Hey, y'all. We are asking the social media question today. I'm a little bit behind schedule, but I'm gonna finish up your calls. What do we need to do to bring back the what do we need to bring back in the black community? It's the social media question of the day. Let's go to Lou. Lou, you're on the Talk of Chicago. Woo, Lou, we're gonna have to put you on hold, my brother. Pat, you're on the Talk of Chicago 1690.
I'm sorry. Good morning, man. Good morning. Good morning.
What's up? Is that Lou?
For a long time, and I think that people hear you, but it becomes so right. They think you're a radical, but you're not. black people, we just need to fall back in love with black people and have a selfless charity toward each other. We tolerate each other. We've done it all, Maze. We conquered so much, and I'm proud of you for your efforts and, the former president and every black woman in this state who's, like, accomplishing things. But the thing about it, you guys have it. Us in the inner city, the rural areas, we have to fall back in love with each other, which means that we will cover each other. So if they disrespect our women, the men come 300 or 400 strong to bag one person. We don't have that no more, and that's kind of diminishing from our community. And the best of us, I know you guys are representatives and you're doing great things, but we're gone. They're gone. So the wealth of us is out the neighborhoods in these suburbs because they don't love us. They don't love each other. And that self-hate. I think you said it earlier that self-love. But people think you're a radical when you say, hey, love your people, love and protect your home, or he's a black militant. I ain't for black. No, we just have to fall back in love with our people, educate ourselves, and remember who we are. That's all. And thanks for taking my call, brother.
Hey, brother, I appreciate that. And that was a pretty positive call, so thank you very much. Lou, are you there? Did we hang up on Lou? Did he get it together? All right, Lou, thank you. You had me nervous there, Lou.
Okay, real quick, you guys need to consider public school social centers.
Talk to me. What do you mean?
You remember those?
I don't. So tell me.
Hello?
I don't remember them. Tell me.
Okay, social centers were after regular classes in high school or elementary school. The kids would stay after school till about 6:30, and they would play checkers, chess, board games, basketball courts would be available, the volleyball courts, even the swimming pools would be accessible to the young people after the regular school day.
Hey, you know what, Lou? I'm going to tell you what. I think that's a great idea. Can I tell you something? When I was shopping for a school for my daughter, that is one of the things that impressed me with the Southwest Side Catholic high schools. And I'm not pumping them up, but what I saw was it was right during the time of the I think it was the Darien Albert, and they were talking about all the fighting in the schools and all the stuff that was happening. And I just remember being at Marist High School, and this is not a plug for Marist because none of my kids go in there. But I just remember the kids were walking around the school. They was playing games. They was like, like they had, like they was, it was like 8 o'clock, and it was like they were not leaving. They were all up and down the halls. It was like, hey, Mr. Johnson, hey, Mr. And, I think one of the things that I heard from my good people, especially like Principal Bueller McLeod over at Diet High School, is children need structured activities. And even...
And it's a safe zone as well. And Maze, I sent you a concept paper. Did you receive it?
Was that the concept?
Department on Youth Development.
I got it. It is literally made it to the top of the stack of things to read and do. Did you have it for Harold Washington?
Yes, I did.
So I definitely know what you're talking about. I definitely have it. It has made its way up to the top of the pile. So if you call me next week, I bet you I know what you're talking about.
Okay, can I leave my number with your producer there?
Leave it with my producer. That's great. Okay? Thanks, Lou. All right, y'all. I want to move on to State Senator Patricia Van Pelt Watkins, rebuked by the members of the Illinois Senate for Wakanda Forever. Not Wakanda, but Wakanda Forever. Apparently, State Senator Patricia Van Pelt Watkins, who happens to be my state senator, excuse me, guys. There's a consolation here. I just want to make sure everybody's listening. We can make this thing work. Anyway, huh? Okay, that's fine. You can. State Senator Patricia Van Pelt Watkins, who was actually a co-sponsor of the legal cannabis bill, decided that before they even passed the legislation, that she would start to help people invest in the marijuana industry. Sounds good, huh? Sounds like a noble effort. until you realize that she's charging you $99 to attend seminars to find out about legislation that is currently being written. Now, you know what, we do have the audio. Let's go to the audio because there's a couple things I want to talk about in this whole process. All right, so Sonia, let's break down the story. Play the audio of what happened.
There's a media report out there about someone who is being, let's say, aggressive.
I am tired of legislators again getting rich on the back of poor people.
How will a legislator get rich from this legislation?
It's my understanding that the legislators who are pushing this are also looking to own dispensaries. So that question that was brought up earlier is a good one.
Any member, if they're African American, Hispanic, or the like, that's a part of the medical industry now has no African American ownership, no minority ownership, all Caucasian male. So right now, someone else is getting rich off of the industry. So I think it's disingenuous for you to sit there and say that we're all looking to get rich off of it.
So is that a reason to approve of it so you can get rich off of it?
So I'm sorry, real quick.
Off the back of poor people?
No, I think your comment is inappropriate.
I think your response is inappropriate.
All right.
Your comment.
Real quick. I just hope that every senator here respects the ethics, and this is a very special place to be a part of the Senate, and then senators, representatives understand it. They should never disrespect the office.
As a member of the Senate, I find that embarrassing for the institution.
If you're involved in an issue, it's something that maybe you would sustain from voting on. I don't think that's a wise decision. I don't know that I support any of that. I just think none of us should be engaged with any type of conversation such as that.
So, a couple things. First of all, State Senator Patricia Van Pelt Watkins was apparently planning to profit off of the legislation that she was in the process of drafting or co-sponsoring.
Co-sponsoring, yeah.
Now, for the first part, I think maybe she just was confused because she saw Ed Burke and Mike Madigan and all the white guys do it. Right? They get paid off of the same thing, but that's a whole different story. First, I think the thing that drives me bananas is the fact that the state of black people in Illinois is completely jacked. And then when you find out that the black people that we've elected decide that they're going to put themselves in the front of the line at a time when we're all struggling, and you created the legislation that made it all white. See, I want y'all to just be clear that what's in it for the black people ain't no lifelong thing. I was there when the legislation was drafted to create the medical marijuana, and everybody signed off on the exclusion of black people. And so now that they are about to profit on it, is it right for Senator Van Pelt Watkins to seek to profit off of it? And does she have an unfair advantage because she's writing the law and then saying, I can tell you who's going to get it, so if you invest with me, you'll win? Isn't that like inside? There's so much wrong with that. When we come back, let's break it apart. It's Talk Chicago 1690, and I want your calls.
More of the morning show with me.
Todd? Okay.
I don't think.
I don't know. I don't think that's the smartest move. I mean, I guess it's
legal.
right, it's legal. I don't know. I would think that after you would pass the legislation, you could have seminars talking about how you can benefit from it, but I don't know. I think before, it just sounds...
She's charging $99 to come to it.
Yeah, it's expensive for her. I've seen it.
She's calling in.
Yeah, I just think that while you're in the process of writing something, you can't be the person who's profiting from what it's actually going to say. It just doesn't seem right. And even if it's legal, people will
They'll look at you a different way, I think. It's gotten a lot of publicity quickly.
Have they asked the Senate President his thoughts?
I haven't seen anything yet.
See, so this is the like now. If this was a black politician, right now, the black politician in leadership would be responsible for that person. Take a moment, share the broadcast. I want to let you all know that if you are not if I do not have, this is the Black Fire Brigade shirt.
Oh, I was wondering what that was.
This is the Black Fire Brigade. They came on a while back. Shout out to Quentin. See, guys, maybe Senator Van Pelt is going to leave the Senate and make money.
Yeah.
Which would leave my state Senate seat open.
Well, yeah. Gotta look for the opportunities. Step in when you can.
Can't
find any real news on this.
I'm wondering, are they gonna will that be the end of the bill? I'm hearing that they're gonna kill it. The bill might not even make it. I'm hearing that JB's having a hard time legislatively. I wonder
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised either. I think that they got all of these highfalutin national people who not from the Chi, not from Illinois running. It's like, golly. And it's like, I think that Madigan let them roll all through the election process, right? Took the money, was like, okay, y'all do y'all thing. You think y'all getting sports betting? You think you getting marijuana, and you think you getting an income tax increase? Yeah, I don't know if you're getting all that. I'm the king around here. I'm the king around these parties. What up, Q? That cowbell sounds good. Make you want to play a cowbell.
What?
I said that cowbell sounds dope in the back. But if you got the cowbell when you was in the band, it was like, you're lame. You are tuned in to Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Ty Stroger. This is the WVON morning show. You know what, man? When I was in the band, I wanted to be a drummer. I played the E-flat alto sax. But I always wanted to be in the drums. And so one time I went back there and said, Mr. Wick, can I play the drums? And she handed me the cowbell and a drumstick. And I was like, this is not the drums. This is not the drums. You don't get no love playing the, I wanted to be the, where it'd be like the jump solo. Where everybody be like, yeah!
Look, I saw,
Ding.
Xavier
Ding.
had a big music department.
Did they?
Yes, as a black school, we were very big and had a lot of jazz. And
You were big where?
Wait, we had a jazz group that traveled the South America.
Okay. South America.
You don't know nothing about Xavier, boy.
Yeah, I do. I seen it.
told me-
I
my
saw it
dad
behind the
told me
billboard.
One year, they split up the track team. That's right. They split up the track team and they went to the pin relays and the Drake relays, and they placed them both. So
Wow.
there, I forgot what my real story was.
Okay, well, you'll buy.
I saw.
We went to bowl
a guy,
games.
He did his whatever they call it, recital. He was a percussionist.
Uh-huh.
He played everything. He played on the chair. If it was there, he played it. It was beautiful.
They call that stomp. You know, there's a play like that where they be banging stuff. My mom be like, boy, if you don't stop banging on them pots, I'm going to bang on you. You know how your mom used to, everything you was doing. If you don't stop it, I'm going to do it to you. All right, look, speaking of if you don't stop it, I'm going to do it to you. You are, the medical marijuana industry is rapidly transforming to what could potentially be the legalization of cannabis. One of our black legislators in the state Senate, Patricia Van Pelt, was yesterday challenged by members of the Illinois General Assembly, as well as a member of the the president of the Illinois NAACP, for potentially profiting off of a bill that she is sponsoring. Here to break it down for us on the live line, as we try to do, is State Senator Patricia Van Pelt. Senator Van Pelt, welcome to the morning show. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Nate?
I'm great. Senator Van Pelt, help me understand what is going on, Wakanda Forever. Why are people so up in arms? They are saying that you are profiting off of legislation. They've removed you as a co-sponsor. Help me understand what's going on.
Okay. First of all, thank you for having the show and giving me a chance to tell my side of the story, because that hardly ever gets done. First of all, nobody removed me from the legislation. I got off the legislation, and the reason why is because I do not want my position being on that legislation to cause a problem for the overall bill. I got on Senate Bill 7 before it was even crafted, because I was just saying this is the way what we do to let people know that we're in support of the idea. The bill wasn't even written yet. I've never been in the negotiations on the bill. I'm not one of the ones that issue license or anything. This story came out of a Republican reporter down here in Springfield who was angry because I was teaching people how to get involved with the stock market. I've been doing this for, I've been doing this for about 6 months now. So long before the cannabis bill came to the fore, I was already teaching people how to buy cannabis stock, and most of those are in Canada. Most of the stocks that we buy are out of companies in Canada. I do not tell people what stock to buy. I just show them how to become an online broker. How to get an online broker, how to identify the cannabis stocks that are most viable, and that's by research on the management team and on the product they're selling and the way they're marketing. And thirdly, I teach them how to help other people learn about this information. So that's all I do with that. And for him to say that I am pushing Wakanda to people through my online training, it's a lie. And so, the whole thing is lies. Amazing. And I just appreciate you giving me a chance to say this. And second of all, Wakanda for Life is a powerful organization for African American people and also other minorities. Our goal is to help as many people get into the cannabis industry as investors, formulators, and entrepreneurs. That's our goal, and that's what we're doing.
So, Senator, help me understand. First of all, do you think that there could potentially be an appearance of impropriety? I don't know if people understand the difference between a co-sponsor and a negotiator. I think they just see your name and say, hey, if I sign up with Senator Van Pelt, I get a leg up on this industry. Do you think it could be misleading to people at all?
Well, I don't know if most people know I was a co-sponsor. I think that came out because the guy brought that out. And that's the reason why I took my name off of it. Because just in case somebody thought I was negotiating something and I'm not. And so, it's just so many lies that he put together. He put so many things together to make appearance to seem like something was improper. In fact, my colleagues have not challenged me at all. It was one Republican, Caucasian guy that really said a whole lot about, basically saying about me, thinking I might be profiting off the bill. I hope all black people profit off that bill. They profited off us long enough.
Oh, I heard that, Senator Van Pelt. So,
and Mays, I hope you bring me on your show to talk about this some more at another time. I'm in Springfield right now, but my whole life has been committed to helping people. I've tried my best. I came from out of the jaws of death and made it back. And I want to help as many people as I can. And to be silent at a time when billions of dollars are changing hands, that's what they want. But, they don't have a problem with the farmers voting on farm bills that's down there. They don't have problems with the lawyers voting on property taxes and things like that. who are down there. They don't have a problem with anybody but the black legislators.
Now, let me ask a question. Do you anticipate then that? So let me ask a question. Will you be taking part in the? Well, no, let me go back. How did this industry get to a place where all white men in a state where we have the most black legislators? How did it become that the medical industry is all white? The medical cannabis industry is all white.
Well, it just started off like that. Originally, when the bill was first passed, there were black people in it, but they didn't have enough money to stay in it. It took so long for the medical marijuana industry to take off in Illinois because of all the regulations, and it kept costing more and more money. And the black people just didn't have enough to stay in, so they lost their interest in it.
Okay. Well, Senator Van Pelt, I'm gonna tell you what. I appreciate you giving your perspective on this bill. I will say that I hope that you don't butt anybody else out, but I think you have a very good point as it relates to the farmers and the property tax appeals and the lawyers. And it does seem odd to me. I said that this morning that you probably got it from watching some of the most powerful people in Springfield profit off of the laws that they pass as well. I just want to make sure that black people get our fair cut. Senator Van Pelt, I appreciate you calling in.
Let me leave one thing with you because this is something that's not out there. Wakanda is owned by a whole lot of people. I own 8% of Wakanda. So it's about empowering our community to get involved in this space. And I would thank God if we did get a license. And Wakanda's not planning to apply for a license itself anyway. But I would thank God if we did get a license because this company is owned by the people in the community.
Now, you know what I gotta ask. Why,
Good,
Senator?
on.
Senator, you know what? If you want to hold on, then why don't you hold on for a second? We'll bring you back right after the break. I gotta go to traffic and weather.
Live from the WVON.
Well, she hit back with that one. She hit back real hard with that one.
No, but she's right. When I was in the House and the Republicans took over, I was on the insurance committee, and the chairman of the insurance committee was an insurance agent. Nobody looked at it twice, and I'm pretty sure she's right about like agriculture. That the chairman of the agriculture committee is probably a farmer, and most people, I'm sure anybody who has a farm is on the agricultural committee. I remember Lou Lang saying that they didn't have enough members once, not enough Democrats. And they asked him to be on, and it was always kind of like a running joke that here he was from up north where they didn't have any farms on the ag committee. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely not unusual for people. And as a matter of fact, I just saw somewhere some people write, and they were like, well, I think that the chairman of the committee should have some kind of experience in whatever committee they are chairing. Now, that's not always the case, and probably is almost highly unusual because there's so many committees, and you don't get to pick what committee you're going to be the chairman of unless there's a seniority issue there. So, you know, even though I would love to be the chairman of appropriations higher ed, I mean, that wouldn't happen because by the time it got around to me, that committee would be chosen by somebody else.
You know who got it? You know who had it before he got out of here? Ken Duncan.
Oh, Ken was
Ken had chairman of higher. He was getting ready to put them universities on fire because he was like, "Let me see your contract. Y'all need how much? How many minority vendors? Because all of the university systems, they don't track none of that MBE, DBE. They try.
Oh, really?
They do, but they don't. Because who holds them accountable? Their own ethics officer, and they just give it all to the Asians. Well, I was getting ready to talk smack about Van Pelt Watkins. I still don't think she should. I think the appearance is not good, and I think it does look like she's jumping the line. But apparently she started out, so I'm gonna give her the opportunity to talk about it. Yeah. It's like my point is not to necessarily bury her. I mean, now that I've heard her point of view, I had a way different perspective.
Well, it makes sense that her company, this is what her company does, is they try to teach people how to get into the markets that are there and make money. So it's a bigger picture than just this cannabis.
Well, let me tell you what I also think. What I also think is, so I think that what she is doing is no different than when all of these state reps get these consulting jobs with people that have been, like, how many state reps and state senators have consulting gigs or do stuff for ComEd and People's Gas and all of that stuff in other places. I think that when you are a legislator,
Or actually work for
Yeah.
the company. Yeah.
work for the
And an
company,
employee.
right?
Yeah.
And so I think what Senator Van Pelt did was actually say, here's an opportunity. Let me figure out how to market and capitalize on it. Do it in a way that's not illegal, right? So I'm not selling you Illinois. Now, the appearance, still kind of tough, but I'm saying, like, the only thing is it's like if you went down the list and saw all of the people who are legislators what their side income is, you'd be like, oh, you think they living off that 70 grand? No. They all get jobs as consultants or something else that supplements their income. If they don't have a state or city or county job that they get to take a leave of absence from to come legislate.
Right. A lot of them are like supervisors of townships, and some of them are mayors of towns. So yeah, most of them are going to have another job.
A dual income. And so what they do is they keep the black people poor and dependent on the lobbyists. So, like, you can live a lifestyle, but you got to go to the lobbyist to take you to dinner. You got to go to the, and so the lobbyist is happy because for $75 a meal, he can get you 20 million. Yeah, okay, I'm not mad at Senator Van Pelt no more. I'm not. She
explained herself.
She explained herself very well.
22 in the
She probably was just an easy target.
Cloudy skies and patchy falling as well. The National Weather Service says we can see some more scattered showers. Temperatures remaining in the low 50s today. Cloudy tonight and 48. And tomorrow on Saturday, the possibility of more rain.
Maisie, the people that are the current owners of cultivation facilities and dispensaries are going to be the first in line because they're going to sell the concept of having to recoup their investment. So they took all the chances. They're going to say that the industry is just now getting enough patience that allows them to make their money. So it's a bunch of stuff. Yeah, man, I'm with you though. You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. We are talking to State Senator Patricia Van Pelt. Let me do this real quick, though. I want to make sure we show our respects. Charles Chuck Barksdale. His services will be held at the Harold Washington Cultural Center. That's located at 4701 South King Drive. This Sunday, public viewing from 1 to 6. Monday, his wake is from 10 to 11. Services are from 11 to 12. In lieu of flowers, based on Mr. Barksdale's history of philanthropy and the family is requesting that donations be made to the United Negro College Fund. How awesome. How awesome. Life legacy of one of Chicago's greatest. Shout out to the Harold Washington Cultural Center. Shout out to the Hat, Dorothy Tillman. Shout out to my girl, Jimalita Tillman. You know what, y'all? Let me, you know me. I'm ready to jump on it. I'm ready to let them have it. I'm ready to crack the whip and very quickly ready to make sure that we get an answer to what's in it for the black people. And it's one of the things that has made me very popular and unpopular depending on who you talk to. So when I saw this story, I'm gonna be honest with you, people were sending it to me from all over the place. They were sending it to me from downstate. They were sending me like, "Ooh, Senator Van Pelt, look at it." Now I seen the Wakanda stuff, and I was like, I don't know about this. I don't know, and so when my producer said we got to get on the phone, I said, all right. And you know me, I'm like Lions Den, rah rah, let's get it. And then she broke down exactly what Wakanda Forever was. And she started talking about the inequity in the system. And so, Senator Van Pelt, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to offer you an on-air apology, which I don't do. You could probably go find, you ain't going to be able to find one of these. But I am going to offer you an on-air apology because, I am oftentimes, I try to say give us the benefit of the doubt. And in this case, I don't know if I gave you the benefit of the doubt, but when I listened to you explain, you basically said everything that I said. I say every day, which is when you go down to Springfield, you watch and you see these white folks and they clean up. They got consulting gigs, they got law contracts, they got everything under the sun to ensure that they continue their wealth. And when there is a wealth building opportunity, then here comes somebody coming to snap on you. Talk to me, Senator, about Springfield and black equity, and why does it seem like black folks always seem to get the short end of the stick? Or maybe am I missing that? Is that incorrect?
One of the bills I've worked on since I've been down here is the one with trying to be sure that children have access to an attorney when they're being interrogated. That bill has not passed. I passed one bill up to 14 years old, they have to have an attorney. But 15, 16, 17, 18, they allow them to waive their rights to an attorney without their parents' knowledge, and they're just railroading these kids. That's why we're the false confession capital of the nation. No other area has this many kids going to prison on false confessions. And even if the police lie to them and tell them if you sign this paper, you'll be able to go home. Even with that, even though that was brought up in court, they still upheld the sentence. It hurts me to my heart. I mean, it hurts me to my heart what I see down here. But I know I'm a voice in the wilderness, and I'm gonna, as long as I'm down here, I'm gonna carry the voice of ordinary people into government. But the Black Caucus works hard. They work really hard. I mean, we struggle with a lot of powerful people. But the fact that there's 10 of us down here is a good thing because we hold mostly almost any Democratic vote that tries to run in the Senate cannot pass without the Black Caucus because there's 10 of us.
Senator, so and let me say, I believe you are a voice in the wilderness, but I guess why is our community still the wilderness? When you say can't nothing pass without the Black Caucus, when we look at the number of Black Caucus members, we look at the number of black elected officials in this state, why is this still the worst state in the country for black people? Like, with all of that power. Help me understand.
Let me show you why. Because in order for a bill to get to the floor, it has to make it through a committee. A committee is like 8 people or 12 people. The majority is not black on those committees. It's impossible for us to be the majority on every committee.
But if you can stop everything, so my question is though, go ahead.
But it can't even get, our bills can't even get to the floor.
So why can theirs get to the floor if y'all got if nothing can pass without you, then how come they can get to the floor and pass and ours can't? I'm just curious.
Well, if there's a bill if there are bills that have come to the floor that pass because all of us are not on the same committee, so sometimes everybody doesn't know what's going on. Some bills have passed, but the thing that I do and many of the other Black Caucus members do when that does happen is get over to the House and make sure somebody captures that bill before it gets to the floor. Now, since I've been there, one of the bills that I felt was just ridiculous that passed, and that was the bill that said that if somebody steals a catalytic converter from somebody's car, they have to spend a year in prison. Well, they can steal a whole engine and not go to prison, but if they stole the catalytic converter off the car, they go to prison for a year. That don't even make sense. So I went over to the house to work on getting them to stop that bill, and they did. So that's our only hope. Our only hope is to get over between the House and the Senate, and there's no way for us to know every single bill since there are thousands of bills that come through.
Senator,
let
me, because I only got a few more minutes. Senator,
okay,
let me ask you a question, because one of the things that you mentioned was the other people that are working down there doing other jobs. You mentioned farmers, etc. Tell me some of the other consulting opportunities or other jobs that legislators have that may be voting on things like they put you in a jam for.
Right. Well, one of the senators, Republican senator, Caucasian, he brought a bill to the floor for CBD to put it in statute that CBD oil is legal in Illinois. His wife sells CBD oil. Because I asked him, why did you bring that bill? He said, my wife sells it, and I want to be sure that she's able to sell without a problem.
How often does stuff like that happen, where people pass laws to benefit themselves personally or their family
because,
members?
See, if I knew, if it was open and everybody knew about it, I guess people would be talking about it more often. But the only way you can find out is if you happen to know them or somebody puts it on the news or something like that. You don't know.
Senator, who are the big voices for black people in this cannabis fight right now that is happening in Springfield?
Senator Toy Hutchinson is the biggest black voice there in
business-wise. Who are the black people that are going to profit from this new industry that the Black Caucus is working for? Whose interests?
Well, I hope that all of us do, because it's a lot of social equity parts in that bill. It gets us a lot of money back to our communities. So if the neighborhood is safe, I feel like I profited.
But are we going to have any black people that are going to have dispensaries growing, licenses, etc.? Do we have the people that have the capacity, or will this bill be written to exclude us like the medical marijuana bill was?
That's what you said. No. It's let me send you the synopsis of the bill, but it's all kinds of benefits in that bill for our community, and including getting access to resources to be able to buy a dispensary or a down payment on a dispensary, $100,000, $200,000, and also requiring the big boys to do some incubating of our group. So we're going to revisit this as well, and this should work for our community. We should be able to get, and I want to make something clear. I do want a marijuana license. I want people to know that. I said Wakanda for Life would not be applying for it, but that's because we would form a different organization, LLC, to own the farm. But Wakanda right now, we're trying to get 1,000 owners of Wakanda from our community.
All right.
We up to nearly 100, and our lawyer told us that if we go beyond 100, we might trigger Security Exchange Commission rules. So we're evaluating that. But our goal is to get past 100.
All right, you know what, Senator, I'm going to tell you what. Thank you for calling in and shedding some light to this story. And if there is information, and I want you to communicate this to the rest of the caucus too. You know I'm pretty tough, but if there is misinformation that is getting into our community, I'm happy to make sure that we clear it up, because we know we ain't got no friends. Hey, Senator Van Pelt, she is fighting It's Wakanda Forever, but I'm going to tell y'all what. I want a license, and I want to be the state rep of the 10th district. I'll be there. I'll see y'all a little bit later. We'll be back after traffic and the weather.
More of the morning show with Maze Jackson.
She did all right, man.
No, she explained herself very well. I think so.
And I'm going to say like this. I'm going to bet you this, that once this stuff gets off, there will be pro-cannabis elected officials. So are you saying that as a cannabis owner, you can't? See, I think the problem is her writing the legislation, or the perception of her writing the legislation. But
exactly.
a cannabis owner could run. A cannabis owner could run and be an unabashed cannabis, because now I'm a farmer.
Yeah.
Ivan, I think you said the best thing, though. So they can't pass nothing without the Black Caucus, but they pass everything that the white folks need. If you can't pass nothing without us, then you can't get nothing without me. It's simple. I guess it's not as simple.
Nothing simple, right? Now when it comes to to big money. It's only simple when you're in the room and you're writing it, and you know you got the votes. So that's when things are simple.
Hey, you know what I want from you?
But yeah, no, I think Senator. I mean, I totally agree with Mays. Her biggest problem is that she is or was a co-sponsor.
It's that clip I gave you.
So once she came off of
It's
it,
the back end of it when she starts saying.
that kind of
so
changes
we're gonna talk
things.
about political
Since her business is basically knowledge about how to make money in markets, so it makes sense that she would try to add this whole new dynamic of cannabis that's popping up all over the nation and supposed to make oodles and oodles of money. So, yeah, she came off very well. I don't really know Senator Van Pelt,
Oh my God.
but it's good to see. But I did know that she was a businesswoman before she got down there. And it's kind of nice to have some business people in the legislature. You know, most of the black people came through government or social services. You know, you got a few who were lawyers, whose parents were lawyers, usually. But even in that, they are part of government. They probably worked for government in some sense, or they became a judge. So I think it's good to have her down there as a voice of the businesswoman. I got another special delivery from Mongo.
Dun, special delivery. Special delivery.
That goes over Maze's head.
Mongo.
Special delivery from Mongo. Blazing Saddles.
I actually want to watch Blazing Saddles because the sheriffs are.
That's hilarious. What?
The sheriff's up.
That's funny. I was just thinking about giving a speech and saying, "Excuse me, while I whip this out." Yeah. Yeah, black issues. It's funny how some of them still haven't changed. Blazing Saddles, I don't remember when that was made. 74 or something. Yeah. Yep, like I said, I wouldn't mind going down the street for myself one day. Today ain't today, but maybe one day.
What, to go be a legislator?
Mm-hmm. Legislators, that's a fun job. And I don't really want to go to Washington. Even though Washington's a really nice place. But that's not my goal. Even though that's most people's goals, never was mine.
There's still 45 on a Kennedy from here today. 22 on Express Lane, 35 on Church here. Cloudy skies, even a little light fall. We're seeing some temperatures remaining in the low 50s today. Tonight.
You know what I don't like about J.B. Pritzker spending all his own money to do all this stuff? It's going to set a poor standard going forward. But also, it's like you're not working within the means of the state. And how much of those people are now more loyal to you than to the will of the people?
I totally agree.
So he's hiring...
Unrealistic.
Right. And so you got these people walking around that are so... They've become... Well, they're not like... Well, I'm going to stop.
Hey, did you send me the...
Rundown?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Ancient. Just sent it again.
Angel dust. Angel dust.
You are tuned into Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my
That was a
co-host,
blast from the past.
Angel
I haven't
Dust.
thought of that song in probably 30 years or something.
Todd, you didn't partake, did you?
Oh, man, I don't do drugs, man. I mean,
I thought you
don't-
said you never inhaled.
Because
Todd, if they
don't-
legalized
I don't
marijuana,
even
would
like
you?
taking pills? I mean, I take an aspirin for trying to stop myself from having a stroke. But other than that, I don't.
So if they legalized, Todd, would you wouldn't partake at all? Not even like a gummy bear.
You know
Like-
what? My body
Like a brownie?
As my body is falling apart, there may come a time where I'll have to start doing that kind of stuff, or I'll be in pain all the time.
Uh-huh.
But until that happens, I'm not interested.
You know what? That's only because you don't know. At least that's what my cousins say. You don't know what you know. You don't know what you don't know, man.
And sometimes you don't want to know.
And sometimes you probably wish you would have known. Look at what's old
A
boy
lot
from.
of times you wish you didn't know.
But
I think we know more people like that than you think, huh?
Yeah, you know what, Todd. See, you know what, Todd. You got to take all the fun out the gummy bears, man. Can't brother have a gummy bear? Look, I just want to see legalized.
You know, I don't even like real gummy bears.
Oh, I love gummy bears. Let me ask y'all a question. Did y'all believe Senator Van Pelt Watkins? Is it Van Pelt? I thought she made a credible case. You know what, though? One of the other things I want to talk about, Todd, political royalty. One of the things that I heard in that exchange was the exchange between Senator Lightfoot and the president of the Illinois NAACP. Do you have that, Sonia? The exchange. Play that exchange for me. They were with the testimony when Senator Lightfoot was like, "Don't cut." Go play that.
So I think it's disingenuous for you to sit there and say that we're all looking to get rich off of it.
So is that a reason to approve of it so you can get rich off of it?
I'm sorry, real quick.
Off the back of poor people?
No, I think your comment is inappropriate.
I
and you
think your
should be
response is
called out.
inappropriate.
Right.
I want you to go back
Who is
now.
that lady?
Huh?
Who's the one? Not Lightfoot. I recognize her. Who's the other one?
The president of the Illinois NAACP. I want you to go back, though, because I want you to go to the part where Senator Lightfoot describes the medical marijuana industry, where she talks about the fact that it's an all-white, all-male dominated industry. Because what I really want to get to is, I feel like there's a disconnect between our black elected officials and the common black folks. And I think that when you live in Springfield in a world where you are convinced yourself that you are doing the good for the people, but the people can't see it, I think there comes a disconnect. Play Senator Lightfoot describing the current cannabis industry.
Any member, if they're African American, Hispanic, or the like, that's a part of the medical industry now has no African American ownership, no minority ownership, all Caucasian male. So right now, someone else is getting rich off of the industry. So I think it's disingenuous for you to sit there and say that we're all looking to get rich off of the
So is that a reason to approve of it so you can get rich off of it?
I'm sorry, real quick.
Off the back of poor people?
No, I think your comment is inappropriate.
I
and you
think your
should be
response is
called out.
inappropriate.
Right.
I think we ought to take this outside. That's what she should have said.
Uh-oh. Well, we had enough of senators trying to take people outside. We had that right here at the WVON morning show. But I guess my question, Todd, is I think that sometimes our elected officials have become so jaded in their Springfield bubble that they don't recognize that black... Does she think that, does Senator Lightfoot think that the black people out here don't know that the medical marijuana industry is all white? That it's all white people, and the fact that we see it as you all legislated it that way. You can't complain about something that you created. You gotta fix it. And so please understand the frustration of black folks who are watching people get wealthy off of us, who have continued to get wealthy. And I told y'all, when they created this legislation, They created it and the white guys sat there and the black folks let them cut us out. Look, when we come back, we're going to talk to Willie Wilson. Plus, we're going to continue this conversation because I want to know about political royalty or political servants. Which one is it? We'll be back.
The talk of Chicago and the voice of the nation.
I think like what happens, and it's like I appreciate Senator Lightford's calm demeanor.
Me too, because I would have started sweating.
But I think
I'm like, okay, I think I've had enough of you talking to me like that.
And I think that if you think about what our communities look like, and you think about being the president of the NAACP, and you done went out all of the communities, and you done been to all of the 10 worst cities, and you seeing all of our fancy dressed, super well-dressed black legislators sitting up, and they got all the wonderful things to say, and this is probably not helping me, but they got all the wonderful things to say about, it sounds great on the mic that this is an all-white cannabis industry, that blah, blah, blah. But again, y'all made it that way. Y'all were there.
It is so easy to beat up on the black legislators when you should be beating up on the white legislators. You talking all this crap about black people. That's because you ain't giving them any power. You think just because you got a nice suit and you can talk, that means that you got power? No, your power comes from the people that in your district, the businesses that are in your district, the people who show up when you say we need to talk about something, come to your fundraising, give you some money so you can actually do things in the area. No, coming and complaining once a year and saying you ain't doing nothing. Who wants to hear that?
So,
that's just my thought.
Yeah. I mean, I think nobody wants to hear that somebody hasn't been doing a good job for like 20 years. I don't think I should. Let me be honest. I don't necessarily feel like I need to come to Springfield. If I vote, and I vote, no. Now, if you call me and ask me to come, I'll come.
There's the problem. That's because black people think that politics is a spectator sport. It is not. If you sit and like, hey, I paid my admission. I bought a ticket because I voted. Now I'm gonna sit back and watch what.
That's not what I said, Todd. That's not what I said.
Participation.
Todd, that's not what I said. What I said is, I don't feel like I should have to go to Springfield. I elect someone to go for, now, if I have a specific issue that I want to talk about or that I am passionate about, then I will mobilize and we will go. But the point of electing a representative is so that I don't have to drive 375 miles. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that
I didn't mean go to Springfield. I'm talking about here.
But I'm suggesting that again, Todd. I'm with you on that. I am the first person to tell you that you gotta raise money, you gotta help your elected officials be powerful. But your elected officials y'all gotta recognize that both of us are in a certain space. And all of us are at a disadvantage. And what I think often happens with the black elected officials is you can go to Springfield and be cool. You don't have to deal with, no black elected official really has to deal with the consequences of their actions like everyday real time. You don't have to deal with the consequences of your actions. You have to live in that district. Most legislators probably would not, black legislators would not live in their district if it didn't require them to be elected. With all the access to all the tools and all the money and everything they got, if they could move from that district and move to downtown or move to the where they go to the restaurants and do all that, they would. Here's what I am saying. Please understand that the president of the NAACP today is being brought down to testify on a bill, and her job is to survey the whole state too. And there's a level of frustration that we all have with our black elected officials who, when you come down to Springfield, I'm gonna say like this: if I am the black legislator and the president of the NAACP is giving me some of the business right now, and our state is in the state that it is, I think I own some of that. I think I own.
No. And of course,
and if you telling me don't cut me off.
Every black person should own it then. It's not just her. See, what you should say is, and I should be admonishing myself for not talking to you. Now I'm talking to you out in public and trying to whip you in front of all the white people when I should have talked to you before. I bet you didn't say one word to her before.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you like this. Having been in Springfield, right?
Yeah.
Having been there, I am going to tell you that there are accessible elected officials and there are inaccessible elected officials. There are people that believe themselves as royalty, and when their title, it says leader, blah, blah. I believe that when you come to, I believe that as a public official, as an elected official, you don't have to be disrespected, but you are a servant. And I think in our community, our elected officials do not think they are servants. They expect to be treated like royalty. They do. And it's like, I would treat you like royalty if our neighborhoods look like kingdoms. They look like garbage. And it's like, the job of the NAACP president is not to be in Springfield all the time. Now, probably have a more regular presence. I think if I was the president of the statewide NAACP, I'd probably be down there once a month on legislative, and I probably would make my rounds to talk. But I will tell you that if you have the conversations most of the times and you're black and you go in and you have strong opinions, not disrespectful, you are lectured. You are a nigga, you better get back in your place. Do you know who I am? Real talk. Do you know who I am? And honestly, if you have passion for your people and you are upset, and I think like, if you have passion for your people, and I don't even know if we have the money to donate, right? Like yesterday, I had people coming up to me saying, this is my last $100. And honestly, I don't want your last $100. I don't think that black folks have the political capital right now. Let me not say that. I don't think we've put the value in the electoral process, but I don't think we've seen it work for us. I don't think that most of the people that you would suggest, if I was a black business person, there's only really one politician I would ever donate to. One. You don't see the tangible outcomes of...
And you have just described why black politicians can't get shit done.
But Todd...
That is the field.
Todd...
As I said before, the black businessmen would bypass the alderman and go straight to the mayor.
Because let me tell you what, because the black alderman or the black elected officials be like, nigga, you making too much money. I'm not finna let you make too much money, so then you gonna be I'll let a white person be in charge of me. I'll have to bow down to her, but you think I'm finna make you make some money, so you gotta listen to me? No, it don't work that way.
That can't be that way, because if it was that way, we'll never get nowhere.
But hence backwards traveling that we're doing right now. And that's not directed towards nobody, but I'm just letting y'all know, if you ain't got 50 people with you that's ready to scream, you are, as a black person with black issues, the answer will be, we gotta block this. You heard her. Yoga, wait.
Pretty Lee. Spitzer.
Baby, bend over. Let me see you do the yoga. Baby, bend over. Baby, bend over. Baby, bend over. Let your booty do the yoga. Flex. Flex. You are. Never do what I'm supposed to. You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. Man, I feel like it has been months. It has been months. So you remember we used to open up the 8 o'clock hour every day with yoga. You know what? We might have to go back to yoga because I miss yoga. It's you know what?
The Friday song.
It could be the Friday, big old Friday yoga, and the ladies could do it. Because, when he come in and do that full leg stretch, then everybody be around here, all the women be, excuse me.
I'm impressed. I'm surprised at that. I tried that, you hear popping and pop.
Big O, let me tell y'all what it is, the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. What's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, as well as the Wonder Twins, Sonia Tompkins and Sonia Escobar. Hey, y'all, I just got my tickets in the mail. Well,
Tickets to what?
Email. I got my email tickets to the inauguration. Mayor Lightfoot, thank you very much, sent those to me. I do not know if I'm going to be able to attend at this point. I believe that I will be covering the inauguration in the studio on Fox 32. So I will probably be leaving here and headed over to the Fox studios, where I will sit in studio and provide live commentary and insight on what is going on in the whole process. So I'm not exactly sure if I'll be there, but definitely know that we will be represented. My beautiful and lovely wife is on the transition committee for green and what is it? Green environmental green stuff. You know, all that green stuff. That's good. But our representative, champion for the black people, number one black vote getter in the primary, won all of the black wards, and is now at the forefront of the transition committee on business. Is it business? You know what, he'll tell us, because you know what. But you know this, whenever you hear this brother on the radio and you see this brother out, you know he is always in the forefront of doing what's in it for the black people, doing the right thing, whether he don't care about party affiliation and nomination. He just want to know what you're doing for the peoples. WVON family, welcome back to the morning show, Dr. Willie Wilson. Dr. Willie.
Good morning.
How y'all making it?
We making it, Dr. Wilson. But tell us what is going on, because you had your first transition meeting. What should we expect out of this Lightfoot transition? And you know what I want to know. What's in it for the black people?
Well, listen. I did get a text from her this morning. I didn't talk to her, but Tuesday, I think, is she going to make the announcement of the committee that's going to make sure that diversity, African American and brown, you know, is going to make sure that they're treated equally and fairly, and making sure that they're not left out. So there's going to be a committee that is set up for that, and that's going to be, my understanding, announced this coming Tuesday.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, so that'll take place Tuesday. Now, as far as the transition team is concerned, we've done our last, our assignment, so where we go from here, I really don't know in terms of going forward. We'll just wait until they need us. If they call us, we hear it. If they don't, then that's that too. But she set it up, and let's hope she do what she said she's going to do. Certainly, she's putting things in place. I think it's positive. That is putting that committee together Tuesday to make sure that equality reflects Chicago.
Okay, so that's Tuesday. But what we got coming? What promises have we gotten from her going into this? How many black folks are we committed to? How many black department heads are we going to keep? Where will the black power reside? Who is the person that we go to make sure that black folks get those exempt jobs and positions? What percentage of contracts are committed? And has she already developed a lineup of new black people that she will bring in to consult what's going on?
Well, see, that I do not know, okay? Because the fact of it is that I make sure that by talking and being on the committee was make sure that we have equality in everything that we that the dollars, the tax dollars that are paid. And I made that very, 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 very clear. All right. Now, what they do with it is their decision, of course. All right. Now, we look at the reflection of everything, and I think there was quite a few other African Americans at the table in terms of in the whole committee. But they were people who was putting their proposal together, and I did sign the proposal because if we use unserved community, has got to reflect equitable in everything that we do. All right, and so to me, that says it all. But the detail, going in, who's going to be where, X, Y, Z, that I do not know. That was not shared with me there. I do know, I think that Sometime had the there. I forget the young lady's name. She's in charge of the equity department there.
Candace Moore.
Okay, she's in charge of that. I really don't know outside of that because, once people get in the office, it's their decision, their staff, of course, to make those decisions. All I did was making sure that, look, the language, recommendation, suggestion, that the language be put in there. I'm going to always side with the community myself, regardless of what. I'm not tied to any particular party, any person, or anything, but I am tied to the community. That's my interest, and I will speak out if something not, going right here or there, then I will speak out about it.
Now, in that document, that draft document that was created, is there any mention of black people specifically? I know, like we done said people of color, we done said black and brown, progressive. Now it seems as though the new code word is disadvantaged communities. But when I think of disadvantaged, then the next thing we gonna find out is they're gonna talk about the disadvantaged everybody else. Is there anything specifically outlined in the transition for black people?
No, I didn't see that at all. It's a big document, about 500 pages. And I did not see that at all, but I had the opportunity to read through 500 pages also, all right? But I did see unserved community, all right? And so, but I believe also that keep from getting tied up in court and things of that nature. I don't believe that you can, and I could be wrong, I'm not a lawyer in this here, that you cannot specify a particular nationality, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, but that's for a lawyer to answer that.
All right. Well, Dr. Wilson, will you be at the transition this Monday? And I know you got the good seats. You on stage?
I'm not there. My wife is going in my place like your wife.
Okay. Well, my wife is not going in my place. Let me be clear. Because you cannot hold my wife accountable for nothing that I say or do. Because they try to do that all the time. And then she wake up the next morning and the next thing I said something. And they saying, you should, all these women, you know what's so funny is that all the women who want independence in the world be the first women that try to make sure that my wife wears the responsibility of what her husband says. I know I done went somewhere here, but I just need to be clear that all these liberated, liberal women who always think, they won't never say nothing to Maze Jackson, but they want to plot and say, oh, well, his wife. Yeah, you know what? My wife don't, I don't get a vote in the boardroom. She don't get to write a word of this script. Dr. Wilson, but she do get to tell me what to do at home after I get out this studio. We know who the boss is. I know who the boss is. Don't get it twisted. But when it comes to this show, and so Dr. Wilson, you know what? We trust you. The black community put their trust in you. So we're gonna keep on coming back to you, and you gonna be our tip of the spear with this Lori Lightfoot administration and holding them accountable. Because Dr. Wilson, if anybody will, we know it will be you. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you. And when we come back, y'all, we are going to continue our conversation. Should we fear our politicians or should they fear us? You know what? I was just talking to Todd, and I think Todd think we should fear our politicians. We gonna figure it out.
I'll get you later.
See what I mean? It's Talk Chicago. We'll be back.
More of the morning show.
I'm a public servant.
No, see, that's the difference. Is there a difference?
Well, I think there is a difference for some people. Some people aren't truly public servants, and you know how there's bad apples in every group. I mean, you got to figure out who is the public servant and who is the. But you know what? I just think that people who are in elected positions would do more.
I don't know, y'all got it.
If they felt it.
Why y'all doing? What are you
And
doing?
if they weren't just being futile and just running
That's
out
not
there
them.
getting slaughtered.
That's after the next break.
That's fine. I was just making sure it's in there.
It's in there. Get this in there. Man, y'all, I'm looking at the.
I'm way too cool.
I'm looking at the Rachel Ray cookbook, y'all. They got some great recipes. I want to do these cola ribs, these Coca-Cola ribs. Have you ever had chili with coffee? Made with coffee?
God, no, that sounds terrible.
It's so good. It's like a really you make it with old coffee, Coca-Cola. Like you take a cup of dark coffee. Boy, it's really good though.
Interesting thought.
I make the best ribeyes. I don't want to try hers, but I am gonna tell you these. She got some stuff on here that looks good. A flank steak brisket, salt brine grilled chicken with oyster barbecue sauce.
I'm hungry now. All this talk of food.
Pesto steak skewers. How about barbecue crunch corn on the cob?
I have been thinking about that though.
What?
I need to look through some cookbooks to
Diversify.
Yeah.
I do too, because I feel like I cook the same stuff all the time.
Right. And after a while it gets old. Your family starts giving you a side eye.
I'd be like, man, I'm gonna tell y'all what. I need a straight disconnection. Like I need my mind after, man, this is gonna be tough on my ego today. It really is. If I hate to not win.
I get you there.
You know who I talked to about this?
Who?
My good friend Chris Anderson.
No, really?
Yeah, Chris
That's a strange person to talk about this.
Huh?
That's a strange person to talk about this.
Not actually. If you think about it. He
What
was
is
in the
Chris running
same
for?
he was in the same position. He was in the same position.
Well, I
Think
might
about
not know.
when the big guy went away. You know, you build your whole life for your shot, and then they tell you you're not the guy. And then the guy became somebody else. And he like, wait a minute, I've been working. We back? Coming. Y'all know we got Common coming on. Common. Common. When you put Common on, put on I Used to Love Her. Bring him on I Used to Love Her. When he comes on at 8:30? Not now, but at 8:30. I'll do that at 45. This sound like some monkeys. 60s. Or the music to one of those 60s TV shows.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
You are tuned in to the Top of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Ty Stroger. Sonia, I don't know what that is, but it sounds...
Is that from a movie? Is that from, like, the movie with the baby elephant? Oh.
What's it from? Well, you know what it sounds like, though? It sounds like... Huh? I don't know what... Okay, I see. Well, I'm going to tell you what it sounds like to me. It sounds like the Banana Splits theme song. It sounds like one of those songs that you would hear in the 60s, you know, where everybody's wearing the go-go skirts and they're all doing the dance.
Yeah, that's definitely...
And they do the swim.
Or the late 50s.
All right, it's the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson, Ty Stroger. Hey, yo, Ty, you know what? You just jumped on me.
Well, I thought you were jumping on me.
I wasn't, actually.
Yeah, you were.
No, see,
Look,
don't be
the soldiers
sensitive.
are both shaking their head yes. You
Don't be
missed it,
sensitive.
They stopped.
Oh, see. Look, get over there. Move fast. So, Todd, public servants are... Do you think that our elected officials are public servants or public royalty? And the reason I say that is because it seems to me that we are caught in this cycle. And it seems like I don't know if our elected officials are responsive to regular, everyday black people. I mean, I think that they kind of are responsive to the big issues, but if you ain't like, hello, I'm very humbly, meekly asking you, Your Highness, please to consider my issue. If you are mad or ticked off about an issue, you might wind up a real issue. You might find yourself ostracized. Todd, political servant or political royalty? What's your approach? What's your thought? I mean, because I think you're actually political royalty. You come from a political royalty family, like where people opened doors for you and they bowed down and got out of the way because your dad was the man. But I also think that so many of our elected officials have, particularly in the black community, I think that our preachers and our politicians are like the Afrostocracy, part of the Afrostocracy of our community. And I don't know if they're part of the community anymore.
But, well, I would say that, yes, of course, they are in a group that most people don't mingle with because they're voting on big issues and, billion-dollar issues. So people are going to court them and...
Lobbyists court them. Should a citizen have to court your elected official? Should you have to court your elected official as a citizen?
A regular citizen should be involved with their elected official. As I stated, the problem is your citizen doesn't ever want to talk to your elected official. They don't want to be part of anything unless there's a big problem that affects them only. Then they come in and then they want you to fix their problem, which is not always possible.
So what's the difference between black elected officials and white elected officials in that standpoint?
I just think that the white elected officials have more people. I mean, the higher the income, the more people call and talk about things and become part of what you're doing.
See, and I always think that the more income you have, the less involved they're likely to be. Like I always think that the rich people will say, "Hey man, I don't like this parking." They'll say they want to make sure that they maintain their entitlements. But I think like if you are black and you want something from a black elected official, in most cases there is an extraction. They'll say, "What you did for me? What have you done for me?" Seriously.
I don't know. That wasn't the rule where we were. I mean, I can't speak for other places.
I feel like a lot of times people want you to come to them. And I think that as an elected official, oftentimes the best elected officials are the ones that do more communicating with me than I have to do with them. The people that keep me informed about what's going on and things, so I say, "Oh, let me," or "I didn't know, but thank you." So I feel like no real person is going to know what goes on in Springfield. The average person, you could go down 10 days a month. And if you ain't plugged, you won't even know what is going on. Stuff would be flying so quick, you would not even understand the process. And so I elect someone that I trust. But if I am not big enough, if I am not important enough, right now, if I come in meekly and say, "Hi, I would like to come in and talk about the fact that, and please, Your Highness and Sir." But if I come in and say, "Look, I'm tired. We do 0.67%. The medical marijuana industry is 100% white. You were there when it happened. What happened?"
And the answer to that is, how can you help me fix that? Because I will not be able. My one voice. They know when I go down there that once I go, you're not going to pay attention anymore, or your neighbors aren't. How are we going to get people involved where they will push what we need?
Communication.
Oh, and well, we communicate all the time.
How?
As an elected official, sending things out, town hall meetings. I mean, I'd always tell people, if you invite me somewhere, I'm going to be there. But when you do see me, the only thing you got to say is, "I never see you." Sure you don't. There's 125,000 of you. If you don't say, "I'm going to be here and I like you there too," how am I going to get every place?
I'm with you on that. And
but as an elected official, I thought if you came in the office and you needed something and we could get it done, it's like it was like when he said, "Angels get wings, ring a bell." That's beautiful. Bing, we want to ring a bell. We want something positive to happen.
So I think that there are some offices that encourage because they feel like, see, where I come from, we were taught that every service, every ability to help someone is an opportunity to build a relationship, right? And so we wanted every tree trim, every garbage, whatever, and we would have somebody over there lickety split. But I'm concerned, Todd, that I feel like there is a disconnect between our black elected officials who, in some cases, we don't contribute to. I don't know if we got enough. I mean, I think our wealthy black people contribute to those elected officials, but there's not a pipeline, and I just feel like there's a disconnect. And when I was,
look, if you came, like every ward is not rich, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every ward's got some rich people and poor people. Some have more poor people. But if you came to an event and was like, I want to be involved, put me on your mailing list, and if you gave $20, you're in my event. I don't care. You gave $10, whatever you gave. And if you had no money, I'm not turning you away. Just being there and being a part and meeting people and doing something.
So do I have to join a political organization?
There are people in our organization who weren't truly in the organization. They came around when they wanted. They may come around during the election only. They may have thought the election was important, so they come in, but they still identified with the group.
Got it. All right, y'all. We got to go to traffic and weather. When we come back, guess who's on the line, y'all? Chicago's own Common. He been around the world, but he coming back right here to be on the WVON morning show. We'll talk to him when we get back. Yeah, I just feel like, I don't feel like I'm political, but I feel like there is, everything that you're saying is, what are you going to do for me? Like,
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, what are you going to do for yourself? There's only so much I can do. I've got this job.
Todd.
Wait, hold on. I've got this job. More than likely, you will not take me out. But what are you going to do to help both of us accomplish the goals that we want to accomplish? And you think that sending me to Springfield by myself and when I get there, there's no help around me? You think that's going to do anything? You're wrong.
Okay. So I think that if there's things that I don't go to a Springfield legislator and say,
What was the name of the song you wanted for comment?
Resurrection. Oh, no, no. I used to love her.
I used to love her?
Yeah.
I used to love her.
Dang, I forgot what I was saying. I don't believe that I don't ask an alderman to come pick up the garbage on my street. Never. I just get up in the morning and if I see it, I pick it up. I don't say that, man, these people are dumping trash. I just say we got to pick it up. I don't ask for very much of anything. I think right now the medical cannabis issue is huge, and I think that the Black Caucus has a responsibility to keep us informed, considering that they did not let us, they are there. They're in it. They got people on the committees. And so when the head of the NAACP comes to town, I think that when the head of the NAACP comes to town, the Black Caucus chairman and the Black Caucus should say, we'd like to meet with you. I think that before any of this happens, the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus should say, who are the key stakeholders in the black community that we need to have a relationship with, so that they don't show up and some white guys can go call them up and say, hey, look, to me, if I'm in the Black Caucus, I am making sure that it's more, that when I got a council of black people that make sure that I'm at least getting to the ground floor so that I'm getting real-time feedback and information. I think that most of the information flow in Springfield is a closed circuit that is fed by lobbyists. And so what winds up happening is you get medical marijuana where there's no white people in it, and the legislators are saying, well, this happened, this happened, this happened. You can't be a victim of that. You was there. Like, you can't be so you as a victim of the white boys that can't get nothing done unless you do it, you vote for it?
You in every instance of legislation, just like you were saying about the lobbyists, there is going to be somebody whispering in your ear and telling you things. If there is no black component, the legislators don't make that black component. It's up to the businessmen to figure out what they need and come to you and say, look, this is the game plan. They give you the game plan, you read it, and then you start running with the ball. But if you think the legislators are going to be able to research every issue, and
I don't. No, but I think that the president of the NAACP comes down until we got something better.
Well, that's another issue. I bet nobody knew that the president was coming, or even suspected that they were even involved in this issue. That's on the president. The president of the NAACP should have called
The president of the NAACP has slipped and weighed in on this, and they knew she was testifying.
Yeah.
Like, you know who your parent, you know who's testifying, and to me, like, if
You
I'm
don't always know who's testifying.
okay,
I've been the committee chairman. You can come right before the committee and sign a slip and say, I'm testifying. She should have called them and said, you know what, I'm going to come and testify before your committee. And then the senator would have said, well,
have you ever called?
I'd like to talk to you before the committee.
Time. Okay, that sounds really cool. That sounds cool if you're not calling royalty. That sounds great if you're calling a public servant. If you're calling royalty,
I've been a public servant. I've been a committee chairman. I've been the chairman of 2 committees. It might as well be 3 because Charles Morrow didn't show up for like 6 months once. So I know exactly how this can happen. You call, and if somebody calls and they're like, you know, I'm a representative of this, you pick up the phone and talk to them. At least I did. I don't see why anybody else would.
We're live, Ree. We haven't got the problem yet.
unless I got you, Todd, and I'm saying that you may be a public servant. I'm telling you that you might, and as the president of the NAACP, you might call. But I would tell you that when you walk into the halls of that kingdom, I'm not gonna say your respect goes away, but if you ain't a courtesan when you walk in that mud, if you ain't playing the courtesan rules of whatever, they will check you and be like, I feel you that you the president of the whatchamajig. I would think twice about being a black person and getting into it with the president of the NAACP if I was an elected official. That's me. I would be like, go and talk about, say what you want to say. You wouldn't get a sister girl moment out of me. And if I did, I would pull you to the side.
You get one out of me because I fall for the bait. If you poke the bear gets upset.
Okay.
But if you talk to me first and then you say and you don't agree with me, I'm a totally different person. If I know that you don't agree. But if you just come and just kind of like bushwhack me and say you ain't shit, I can say that on Facebook, then I'm going to be upset.
Did you think she bushwhacked her?
I don't know, but I think so.
I didn't see, and I was like, man, everybody knew about
she pretty much said, you all are trying to get rich and you don't give a crap about us. That's basically what she said. She might as well say sister girl.
Todd.
Yeah.
Who is working on our behalf? Like, look at our community. I feel like everybody can see the outcomes, but we want to pretend.
That's because we love to run around and complain. We never want to get together and say, let's fight together. It's like, hey, let's talk about that.
Is he on? No? Yes or no?
She said, no, she's saying no.
Yes or no?
Oh, okay, her head's shaking the other way.
This nigga said did it in the park. And I was there for her. And just cool out. Wishing that I could do. Let me see if she's coming around. Top of the. I miss her. You are tuned in to the Top of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. Hey, y'all. You heard it. I used to love her. It is the consummate hip-hop love song. I think about when I first fell in love with hip hop, and I think of that song. I think of the album Resurrection. I think of I used to love her. I think about 87th Street. Not cause I was from 87th
You don't know
Street.
nothing about 87th
And first of all, I used to, my
Street.
grandmama used to live on 87th and Constance. I used to go right up to the 7-Eleven. Don't play me. But let me tell you, when I think of 87th Street, when you think about 87th Street all around the world, it's one name that no matter where you go around the world, people say, 87th Street, Chicago, you know Common? WVON family, welcome back to the WVON Morning Show, our very own Common. Common, what's up, my brother? How you feeling, dog?
Man, what's up? Hey, what's going on with y'all?
What's up, man? What's up? Now, Common, you know what, man? You have been around the world. You started on 87, been around the world. You done won every award that is possible. I hear you're going to be down at David Yerman today, but then, man, they tell me you in town because you are doing a performance with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. How does a brother from 87 off of Stony, who used to roll with the Moes, now go down and be at the Chicago Symphony Orchestra? Tell me, my brother, about the journey.
Yeah, man, the journey just started with, I think Chicago and 87th Street helped shape me, to be honest, and gave me a sense of who I am and the determination and a vision. But I think the most important thing is, because we all know it's people from around our neighborhoods that didn't get a chance to go pursue their dreams. But for me, it was just, I saw in myself something, and I saw that I had a dream, and I was like, I'm not gonna let anything detour that. Yeah, I'm out here hanging. I'm out here with the moles and the foes and just hanging out. But I also understood that, man, I want my life to be purposeful. So once I saw that, and man, just the hard work and discipline of it, and belief in God really is what got me to this point. But I got a long way to go, man. I'm striving to get better every day, you know?
Now, Common, I'm going to tell you.
Let me ask a quick thing. Hey, Common, this is Todd Stroger. I grew up on 85th and Blackstone. And my daughter is actually in the Chicago Youth Symphony, so I'll definitely let her know that you'll be working with a big group. But from your book, you seem to be so well-centered and spiritual. When did this kind of hit you, that you knew this is who I am?
Well, I think it was the evolution of me going to church. I went to Trinity United Church, been a member of Trinity since I was 8 years old. Reverend Wright, those sermons meant a lot to me. But then, growing up in hip hop, I was introduced to different spiritual beliefs. And what I did is just, built my own relationship with God and just understood God for myself. And I think, around that time I was working on Resurrection, I was like, man, this is who I am. I do, I want to be able to talk about my personal experiences. I want to talk about God, and I'm down with Muslims too. But I'm a Christian, but I'm down with Muslims too. So it was kind of at that time, and everything still continue to grow. You still keep building your relationship with the Creator. But if you lived on 85th and Blackstone, I first lived on 86 in Blackstone.
Oh, really?
You lived, yeah. That's where I grew up with my mother and my grandmother for a second. But man, we all from around the same hood.
Yes, sir.
Now, Common, talk to me. I was just talking about this. There is right now in our community, I say that during the late 90s, I call it, some of the people I know came up under the Mobb Deep Act. It was a time when everybody got tough, got hard. We was in the, we was in the streets, everybody smoking. It seemed to me though, Common, I remember when Jay said, truthfully, he said he wanted to rap like Common Sense. You always seem to, even though you came from the streets, it seemed like you escaped the negativity that tends to engulf us. How did you stay positive, my brother? Because even to this day, I got a challenge as a brother trying to not be a tough guy. Not that you're a punk, because clearly we know that ain't the case.
Right. Well, I think it just became an evolution because I definitely, at a certain point, was just trying to, be tough out there, do my thing. But I also, at the same token, had, like I said, belief in myself. And I got to give credit and love to my mother who made sure from the beginning that I, okay, look, you're going to do good in school. So no matter what I was doing out there, I was still achieving academically, and that let me know that I could do something. So, and man, in all truth, I never, even when I was out fighting and doing crazy stuff, I never, at the core of me, really wanted to destroy people or hurt people. I ain't really like that.
Right.
That ain't my nature. And I don't think it's any of our nature, to be honest. I think we, in the environments we in, sometimes it's just harder to be good. But eventually, once we start being good, man, you start living that, and it becomes more of your lifestyle, your practice of what you do and who you are. It just takes, it takes work. And look, bro, I ain't gonna act like it ain't times, I ain't still feeling like snapping on somebody. But I just, as I talk about in the book and I'm talking about in life, is you got to have things to help you overcome those things and rise above those things.
Now let me tell y'all, because y'all heard him mention the book, and this is actually why he is here also. Common's got a new book. It's called Let Love Have the Last Word. It's a memoir. Common, I was thinking, and I'm going to, can I say Rosh? Can I not say Common? Because Rosh. All right, so check it out. One of the things that I feel like happened was there was an ebb and flow to your career, and then it seemed like after the connection with Kanye, it got turbocharged, and it seemed like it took you to a whole nother level. Talk to me about the stick-to-itiveness that it took for you, because it seemed like right now, my brother, you riding high at a time when most people your age, we can't find them no more.
Right. Well, the stick-to-itiveness was really about my belief, and man, I'm purposed to do this. This is what I love to do. It was no moment where I was I got discouraged at times, but it was no moment where I didn't believe that I wasn't going to be the best MC or the best artist out there, or my record was going to sell, or this, I'm going to be one of the greatest actors, ever. When I started pursuing things with passion, I just started believing in it. And I think, coming from Chicago has helped me to know everything ain't going to go perfect. You just got to go. You go with the ups and downs of it. And because in all real, my first album came out, it was hip-hop heads that knew it, but it wasn't a big popular thing. So that let me know from the beginning, this is going to be work. It ain't and I knew that just in life to a certain degree, but that really was the first step to say, okay, when you're working in this industry, it's not going to always be just success in the way you see it. So you got to endure, you got to know what you're doing it for. You got to continue to want to get better and really love what you're doing. That's what gave me the stick-to-itness. It's man, I love hip hop. I love hip hop, and I love writing. I love rapping, man. People you ain't gotta ask me to rap too much. You know what I'm saying? It's I really like what MCing does for me and for others. So I just believed in that and believed in the vision of man, just that I was going to make it and continue to make it, or just get better. So I think that, and you got to have the humility too, man. You got to be humble enough to know, even when you getting the awards and your record is selling, that you still can get better. And one thing I know is, as long as I'm on this planet, I'm gonna get better.
Man, Com, that's super dope. Look, I gotta go to traffic and weather. When we come back, we're gonna talk about the book. But you know what else I want to do? Because I know I got a lot of people tuned in. We gotta figure out, the people around Chicago. Everybody man, I knew Common. I know that brother. I know Raj from back in the day. I want to talk about the brothers that you knew that helped you make it, and the brothers that are still doing it. You know what I'm saying? We got Cootie. We got a lot of people that came up in the golden era of Chicago hip hop. And I'm gonna tell you, you were the pioneer. And I'm gonna tell y'all may not know this, but when I first went to Sprite, man, the first person I ever signed was Common. Signed him to the Sprite endorsement deal way back in 1997. We're going to talk about it all when we come back to Talk Chicago.
May is Health Awareness Month.
Ha-ha!
Oh, you guys are about the same age.
I think he's like 2 years older than me.
So I won't be that person that call to pick up the phone and say, hey, Common, I used to hang out with you. I used to stay on 85th East End. I ain't about to say all that. Yeah, all the moles, we used to chill with them.
Yeah.
We used to have a ball. So I'm about to see if he's going to mention who I think, who used to hook him up with. Yes. How you know?
Well, this interview with Common kind of shows what a small world is. I mean, he literally was a block away. I'm still there myself. So he was a block away. But like I say, he's like somewhere around 8 years younger than me. Wouldn't run into him or anything like that. But just like him and Chance the rapper, Chance used to and Taylor their father used to bring them over to Avalon Park. Dave Ford had a basketball.
Yeah, the other guy.
Mo.
During the summer.
Yeah. How you know my business?
I'm Chicago. You can't be Chicago and not know.
How you know my people?
He knows
Love them to
87th
death.
Street.
Love
Y'all don't
them to
understand.
death.
I really hope y'all don't understand that my grandmama lived at 8727 South Constance. So I used to go there in the summertime. My favorite place to hang out used to be the arcade. That's 7-Eleven.
Mm-hmm.
That's on. I used to go up and ask a little, but that was where they had the Gallagher game, and they had. That's why I first learned to start playing video games.
My neighbor's uncle owned that, and my neighbor used to work at that 7-Eleven.
See?
You
talking about I don't know.
What's funny is
See how people do?
You all remember the car races on Stony Island. They used to pack Wendy's. John and them used to be up there. They used to pack Wendy's with IROCs. IROCs were popular, and they would race from 87 to 79.
No, I'm too old for that. I was probably like, get out of my way.
This is in your town. It's on. When the sheriff's gathering us, we staggering. Well, with a global. What's back on video LP? Flavor. Resurrect. You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Ty Stroger. Hey, y'all. We are talking to the one and only Chicago's own Common. You know what? That Resurrection album, man, I'm going to tell you what. That album was a University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign classic. You could not.
You always gotta throw that U of I.
ILL, baby. I'm telling you, I remember when Common came to U of I, and we was all like, Common is at U of I, y'all. I seen him. No, it was like, no, he ain't. You know what? Common, talk to me about what it was like to be, in my estimation, you know, we had Twista and everybody, but you were really the first person, in my estimation, from Chicago to be embraced in the main, by like the New York rappers, right? Like the native tongue guys, like people who, cause you know, we really couldn't get in and you had to leave Chicago and you became one of the classic MCs that so much so that Jay-Z, the Jay-Z says, man, I want to be like you. Come talk to me about what it was like to leave Chicago and take your craft to the world. By the way, I'm sorry, y'all. He's got a new book out. It's called Let Love Have the Last Word. It's a memoir. It is out. I got a copy. Ty read his already. I'm halfway through. And it's about, man, my brother is all about that love. But talk to us about spreading it around the country, my brother.
Yeah, well, as you said, when I first, being from the side and then, like, trying to be heard that's why I named the album "Can I Buy a Dollar?" the first album, because I was like, can we get ours? Like, can we get a piece? Like, because I was growing up listening to, like we all did, listening to East Coast and West Coast hip hop. So I wanted like them to respect our city. So when I first started getting some recognition, it was, man, I felt like good. I felt like proud for my city. I felt like, man, I'm achieving something, man. They know what Chicago is when De La Soul asked me to be on their song, or when Tribe like shouted, they didn't shout me out, but they, it said Q-Tip was like, man, come through and listen to these beats. I got to work with Large Professor. Man, it was an honor, because really starting off, that was part of the goal. It was like, man, I want De La to know who I am. I want KRS-One to know who I am. I want NWA, like, because I looked up to them cats. So it was an honor to be from Chicago and be one of the early ones. Because like you said, Twista did come out, and he was one of the first to release a record on a label and national. But I think, eventually I started getting that East and West Coast respect, which was, man, it was dope. I was just opening up doors, really, at the end of the day.
Man, talk about putting Chicago in your back end. Do you still... Talk to me, because I think when you came up, brother, it was a known fact that if you wanted to get on, you had to leave Chicago. Talk to me about what you see in the industry now and about what Chicago means to the game.
Man, well, I got to say, I actually didn't, I didn't leave Chicago till 98. So by that time, I was, getting, some international recognition and, like, working with artists from everywhere. But what made me make that choice at that time, and obviously it's a lot different now, was everything that was happening in the industry was either in New York or LA. Now, you got cities, I remember Atlanta seems to thrive. In Chicago, we came with our scene where it's a bunch of diverse type of MCs. That's one thing I love about Chicago. Like, you got everybody from G Herbo and Bibby to, to Saba, to Mick Jenkins, to Chance, and, to what you call it, Dirk and them.
Right.
And so it's like, it's a variety of young artists, and I feel like we always had that in a way. Just like you said, we had Twista and Do or Die, Crucial Conflict, and I was out there, and then Kanye came, Lupe. Like, I feel like one of the things that Chicago brings is every artist brings an authenticity to him. Like, Kanye was being who he is as soon as he came out. So was Lupe. Lupe was a dude from the West Side, from the hood.
Skateboard.
I think that's the quality that a lot of Chicago artists possess, and I see now, we don't have to move away to make things happen. But at that time, it was like, man, for me I was looking at my life really and saying, man, can I build a career? Like, is my career gonna be in this game? Then I gotta be like in that industry and be like networking and making moves. So that's really why I ended up making that move. But you don't have to do that now.
Real quick, you got 2 minutes.
I'm older than you guys, and I was thinking about you in the sense of where there was a lot of rappers who talked about the negativity in the neighborhood. Mays telling me to hurry that up. How was it to be different?
Man, it was a little, at first it was challenging a little bit, meaning, it was hard everybody wasn't rocking with the music or the movement at that time, because it's like, man, we don't want to hear that, man. We going through it over here. We don't want to hear that positive stuff. And eventually, man, some of it just started to seep into people's hearts and systems and be like, man, like, we need that positive stuff. We need something to just give us some inspiration, as well as, that's not a knock on the stuff that's on any other stuff that may be, talking about the selling dope or whatever brothers experience. But I felt like it's like driving through I feel like verbally, like lyrically, I'm driving through the hood looking at the beauty of the hood. That's what I do. And I think some people could drive through the hood and tell you what's going on in the hood and from their perspective. But I choose to look at it like, man, I see we going through the struggle, but we overcoming it, and I'm there to give that hope. So that's what I wanted to do. People came, they came around to it eventually.
Rosh, we got to wrap this up real quick, but you got so many Chicagoans that are listening, and everybody feels like they know you. You still rocking with Derek Dudley?
Yeah, man, Derek is my manager.
Hey man, can I tell you, he was the hardest. Look, I signed a contract with Rashid back in the day. Derek worked me over so hard, it was ridiculous. I was like, you'd have thought it was $1 billion deal, but he's done a great job. Rosh, shouts out to any of the people from Chicago that may be tuned in. Vince Bass and Malik Youssef said, make sure I let you know, as well as Black Ice. Anybody else you want to send some love to? Shout out to Shonlet too.
Yeah, I was about to say Shonlet and my boy Mo. Everybody from around 87, Malin and you know, Bay, Fuda, Ron, Rasan, all the guys I grew up with, Taiwan, you know, Anthony, that's my family, so I want to shout them out. And man, I want to say, man, thank you for that. That contract it was our biggest contract at that point. You know, we were super grateful. Thank you for bringing that to us, man. You always brought stuff home, so thank you, man. And that was important. That was, you know, you probably ended up making a way for me to survive for the rest of that year. So thank you.
Hey, my brother, I appreciate that. You know what? Can we get you in a "What's in it for the Black People" T-shirt, my brother?
Yeah, man, get that to me, and I'll rock that joint.
All right, I'm gonna come down and check you out at David Yerman tonight. All right, is that cool?
David Yerman, I'm at Trinity Church tonight too, man. So check us out. And Blue
The book.
Dale.
Oh, and Blue, man, look at you, man. You got all the endorsement deals, man. Are you gonna be in John Wick?
No, they ain't put me in John Wick 3, but let me tell you, I mean, still go see it because I love John Wick. But look, I know we got to get off. You bring us your gear. We got some paraphernalia. We got some merchandise. It's Let Love for merchandise that we got at Bloomingdale's. That's why I'm doing the signing today. At what time? Tomorrow. I'm doing the signing at Bloomingdale's at 2. But come through. I'm exchange. You know, you give me the T-shirt. I'm gonna get you the hoodie and stuff.
My man, and we need you in the studio. You gonna be here rehearsing, brother. We gotta get you down here to the studio. All right, y'all, come. He's got a new book out. It's coming. Let Love Have the Last Word, for a memoir for Annette Flournoy, for Sonia Tompkins, Sonia Escobar, for my co-host Taj Trojan. It's Friday. Y'all see me 2262 West Jackson, 10th District State Rep tonight. Hey, y'all, if you don't like it, you can still tell them. May said Cliff Kelly's next.
The talk of Chicago and the voice.
I needed that on tape. Golly. Thank you. When he had to acknowledge, see, man.
Come on and say hello to everybody on the internet, Cliff.
Acknowledge. What's up, Cliff Kelly? Hello. Okay, so.
My man.
What up to the Cliff? That's the president. Not the governor, but the president of Chicago Radio. It is the one and only Cliff Kelly. All right, y'all. I got to get out of here. I'm headed to go get ready for my 10th District State Representative audition. Y'all know they going to hate on your boy, though. Send me some love. Pray for me. Peace.
Black people on shirt, right?
I really would.